Evening all. Welcome back to Hold the Line, the survival run, episode 2. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone watching at home. Please smash the likes. Subscribe if you're new here. Much appreciated. Let's welcome in this lively looking panel tonight. I'm sure you've all got a lot to say about Spurs and their relegation battle. Let's start to my right. Matt, how you doing, mate? Thank you for joining us. How you been? Matt's froze.
Matt's frozen.
We'll go to Maz. Maz, mate, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, Dan. As good as we can be as Spurs supporters. Yeah, all good. Thank you very much.
Cheers for coming on. And Ian, how are you, man? Been a while?
All good. Been a while. Too long. Looking forward to the show tonight. Big up to everybody listening. I'm just looking forward to tomorrow.
Can you hear me, Dan?
Do you think we're going to win?
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to win?
Yeah, well, we'll be talking about it. Cheers, Ian, for coming on. And then Billy, how you doing, man? Thank you for coming on as well.
Yeah, very good. Great to be on with a great panel. Good to see everyone. And nervous, to be honest with you, my friend. I'm very nervous watching, keeping an eye on that Fulham West Ham game. And, I'm more nervous about that than anything I've been nervous about this season. So, yeah, it's terrible times, isn't it? It's desperate times, man. But at least we've got each other to get through it, eh?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to come on and do a show, and when things are so difficult at Spurs, it's been a horrible season, and plenty to talk about. Let's say a few hellos in the chat. So see who's here with us tonight. Big up to Rodney. Big up to all. Lange out, ENIC out. Hope you're good, man. Big up to Mark. How you doing? Big up, Dan. I'm worried about the game tomorrow. I think a lot of fans are worried. Big up to Cookie. Even to you, Cookie. Hope you're good, man. And Cookie's coming with a super chat. Thank you so much. Super sticker, sorry. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Nige is here as well. Big up, Dan and panel. Hope you're doing good, mate. Hope you're well. Thank you for your super sticker as well. Thank you very much. Big up to MKP 0138. City are 1 up against Forest. Yeah, we're going to be keeping a close eye on those scores throughout the evening. And one more guy here as well. Dominic, how you doing, man? Big up, Dan and the crew. Looking forward to the discussion. Yeah, thanks everyone for being here tonight. Much appreciated. Subscribe to the guys as well. Ian, the Spurs 5. Maz, Spurs Corner. I'll be putting their links up throughout the night. And Billy as well. The whistle blows. Yeah? That's all right, Billy? Good. Nice.
That's the one.
Cheers.
That's the one, mate. That's the one.
Yeah, I always get it, but the whistle stops. I don't know what it is. There's another podcast which is a very similar name on there, I don't think it's Spurs related. It's something whistle. I don't know. Right, let's get right into it tonight. Spurs obviously come off that 2-1 defeat against Fulham. 2 games under Tudor, 2 defeats, no bounce, no lift, no reaction. Tudor comes in and tells us it's not about tactics. It's not about the system. It's about fight. It's about personality. But I'm looking at that pitch and I'm asking, where was that on Sunday? The players looked lost. There was no confidence, no intensity. And it was just kind of same turgid football like we saw under Frank. So I'll be asking the question tonight, what has actually changed? So we're going to be talking a bit about Tudor and how he's coming at Spurs and what he says and, the Fulham game a little bit, and then we're looking ahead to Palace. But before we do, I want to get an update from Billy on change for Tottenham. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Billy, mate. I know there's been some, stuff released about, sending letters in to the club. Just want to, if you want to talk a little bit more about that, and if there's any upcoming protests, or because it's difficult, isn't it? Like, with the relegation fight, it's really tricky to put a protest on when obviously the team needs the support. So over to you, mate, on that.
Yeah, exactly that. So I'll take a couple of those things first. First thing, I think, as a fan base, we need collective action against its owners. I think if you look at some of the things that have happened lately, I think we've had the January transfer window, which for me is one of the most unforgivable bits of negligence I can ever remember. And if we do end up going down, I think we'll point to that January transfer window as the biggest neglect in the history of our football club. I think the article that has come out today and said the club are looking for a director of football to work alongside Langer next year. who has to be comfortable being a number 2 and all this kind of stuff. And I think it just reeks to me of people that have absolutely no plan whatsoever. I think, the way that they've handled the Frank situation, the Tudor situation has been potentially disastrous for our football club. And, I just really at a loose end with these owners. And I honestly, others have been, and, I know we've spoken about it many times on this channel, many times with Lubo on Spurs 5 and across various different platforms. I don't think anything changes until these owners change completely. We will keep pushing. It's a really difficult time at the moment, as you know, because the most important thing that we need to do as fans at the moment is support the team. There's no doubt about that. We're in a relegation battle and they need us. But Change for Tottenham are definitely not going anywhere. So we're targeting a campaign, a multi-pronged campaign against them. Often we get asked what international fans can do to support us. So we've decided that the emails that they can get involved in to send, and we found the emails of people at the club that are responsible for this, Vinay, Langer, Matthew Collicott, Viv Lewis. That's one way. I haven't said this before on any show, so this is an exclusive. We are going to be targeting sponsors over the next few weeks as well. That's something that people have been asking for us to do for a long time, and we hope that will give some message to them as well. We're going to introduce a targeted action against sponsors of this football club to hopefully make the club sit up and listen. And we will be doing in-person protests at the Brighton game as well. It is difficult to have to call on fans to protest at the moment, because the definite thing that we need to do is support the team. We won't be touching the matches or anything like that, because at the moment we do need to get behind the team, but we will be protesting at Brighton for sure. So there's lots of different ways that we can keep the pressure on this ball, but I think what's definitely true is that all fans need to come together, whether we support Change to Tottenham or not. We need to hold these owners to account. They are getting away with murder at the moment, and it could literally be murder if we go down. So very grateful for all the support we receive. But actually, again, I'm always in favour of in-person protests and doing things in person, because I think that sends the best message. But the response we've had to the emails has been amazing. The club are responding to some of them. They're ignoring some. They're responding to some. So they're definitely listening. We know that. But I just think we're trying to find ways, this fan base, the things that we can do to get rid of these owners, or at least to hold them to account, because it's just desperate times at the moment, mate. I mean, I read that article today about them finding a director of football, and it just makes me feel so baffled. I just assumed that Langer would be gone next season and that we can start again. But to find that today comes out they're looking for a football director to work alongside him, it just feels like this is never going to end until ENIC goes. So we will keep the pressure up and hope that fans join us too.
Yeah, cheers for the update, Billy. Anyone want to talk about anything about what Billy said, guys?
Well, listen, it's the end result of many years of neglect. We've had a few little bright spots within the 25 years, but luck will only hold for so long. And ENIC had the Paul Barbers and the Michael Edwards. They had the Paul Mitchells. They had some very good players, but the cupboard is now bare, unfortunately. And we are where we are. We're in a relegation fight because this is one of the worst Spurs teams that I can actually remember. And I've been following them for 60, just over 60 years, 61 years now. And I think it's about time they sold. They put in total. They put in share. What did he call it? Share buys. They put in 350 million. Let them take 3 billion. Spurs have got to stay up first. If they go down, that valuation is just going to plummet, particularly with £1 billion worth of debt on the ground and on player amortisation with players' transfers still to be paid. And for me, I think they'll sell. I do think they'll sell, Billy. I think, and the sooner the better, because we just need new owners. It's enough. It's coming up 26 years.
Quarter of a century.
Yeah, it's too long. It's too long. That they're not interested in a sustainable successful football club. And this is a football club at the end of the day. It's not based around other sports. It's not based around property. It's a football club first and foremost. The other things are great. If ENIC are making money in off-field activities that are going to go into the football club, then fantastic. but this is a football club first and foremost, and that's been taken away from us. That's been ripped apart. And you look at other clubs and what they do, and how their owners view the football side. You know, what do we get? We get we get emails through on the Skywalk, and what boxing fights are coming through, and this and that. And you walk past the ground sometimes. I'll drive past sometimes. You wouldn't think it was a football ground. You just think it's an entertainment centre. And to me, this has all got to change. We've got to go back to basics. We've got to go back to being a football club, and all the rest of it adds to the football, adds strength and financial power to the football side. That's never been the case. It's only ever been run to make the money. Listen, and they were honest about it. They didn't say otherwise. When they bought the club, they said that they looked on this as an investment, financial investment. It was nothing to do with winning everything like Abramovich wanted when he bought Chelsea. So for me, them going, it will be long overdue.
Yeah, I think everyone on the panel here wants ENIC gone, I think. Look, Matt, sorry, I didn't introduce you to the show because you cut out. Are you okay, mate? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Apologies about the internet. I'm not sure what I missed earlier, but nervous about obviously the game tomorrow, but totally agree with Lubo. I don't think it's an accident the club's been run this way. I think some fans think, oh, we've been unlucky, or if only. I think it's been deliberately run as a second or third stream business. Football is nowhere near the forefront of their mind. It's a sideshow that he got lucky with that Kane squad, that Kane and Son guaranteed Spurs a top four, the occasional third league finish, and we were relevant for a period of time, but there's no interest in Tottenham being successful over any sustained period of time. It's all been done as a second thought, as an afterthought, and the sooner that they sell up, the better. That's my thoughts on it.
Okay, mate. Maz, what's your opinion on it right now?
I wish Billy and the guys all the best, and hopefully that they can make something happen. I've been protesting now since the beginning, when there wasn't many people outside the club shop, with Brian and Stel and Graham and Ian and all those lot that were going there. And it's a shame that the vast majority of the fan base don't feel the same way as we do. And I think that the current plight that we're in, a large proportion of the blame is on the fans. And I know that's not a very nice thing to throw at the fan base, to say that you're partly to blame for this, because obviously they don't run the club. But through our inaction and through our lack of standards and holding the club accountable, rather than just pointing the finger at the manager and by proxy the players, and ignoring everything else above them, it's that this problem now is way downstream of where the initial problem was. And all I would say is like I said, all the best to Billy, and I hope you can make something happen. What I would suggest is that you create like a membership structure for the movement. The reason I would create a membership structure is to start getting some real numbers behind the movement, which adds weight to the cause. Maybe a fee would be involved in that, and that money that is attained through the membership then gets put into financing whatever the goals are of Change for Tottenham, and getting in the resources that the movement needs to inflict change. I think organisations like the Trust are a big waste of space, and they need to be usurped. As far as I see, is the trust is the facilitator of this mess. You know, they can send their fancy letters to Tottenham Hotspur, but they're not speaking for the fans. Or maybe they are speaking for the fans and we're in the minority, but we won't know that until we progress with change for Tottenham. That's all I can really say. I haven't got much energy for it. I've sort of, rightly or wrongly, I've sort of given up on the fan base to do anything about this club. I would have thought many years ago that they would have gone against the board and the ownership, but for me, they've made their choice, and they have to live with the consequences. And maybe one of the consequences is that we get relegated. Sounds it's not very happy, but sorry, but that's the way I feel about it at the moment.
I think we've just been arguing that on the show, Maz. I think that would be catastrophic for Spurs. I think it'll mean that they stay longer. There'll be no sale in sight if we go down. If you lose if you buy a house and all of a sudden there's a big drop and big crash and your house goes into negative equity, you're not going to sell and take a massive dive. You're going to sit tight till the market.
It just depends on how catastrophic it is for them and whether they can continue to finance the operation. But we won't know the details of that. But you're right. I agree with you, Ian. That they're as businessmen, they're going to want to try and recoup their losses, right? And try and implement a plan to recoup their losses.
They'll get vultures coming in and saying, right, we'll buy the debts, and that's it. Just buy it. We'll buy it lock, stock, and barrel, and that's the sort of offer they'll be getting. You look at the wage bill. Our wage bill is 260 million. The highest wage bill in the Championship this season is Leicester City, 42.7 million. I mean, what a difference! Over 200 million drop. I
agree with you. It'll be catastrophic. Yeah. There's no two ways about it. I don't agree with
club merch. Yeah, everything, sponsors, the whole thing will just dive.
I mean, I don't agree with Stel's sentiment that I agree with it in part that it will force a change of some kind, but I don't think that ENIC are capable of making any positive change at this club.
Don't think they know how to change, Maz.
They don't know how to change it. No, and we used to blame Levy, right? But Levy is ENIC, and he implemented their will on the football club and his will as well, right? Because he's part of ENIC, and I've said this again many years from Tottenham away, and obviously now Spurs corner, that they've effectively gone about erasing our history to create this sports entertainment business, and as part of their plan to create this behemoth of an entertainment business meant that they slowly ushered out the door anything that was left of Tottenham in terms of history and the playing staff, ex-playing staff, I should say, and people that really loved Tottenham and understood Tottenham out the door, And now we're left with an empty shell of a club with no link to our past. Who on the board has any link to our past?
There's not a single coach. There's not a single coach or player either with any Tottenham. There's not even an academy player in the first team. There's nothing.
Pleat was the last remnants of the old Spurs.
Yeah, not a coach. There's nothing.
All right, and they got rid of him, right? And I you know what? I would bet that he was one of the main reasons why up until the last several years that we got any decent players in, it'll be along his ear to Daniel Levy saying, yeah, he's a good player, or or something like that. I would place big money that he was one of the reasons. And as soon as he's left, because obviously he's getting old, let's be honest, he's getting old, right? That was it. That was the last remnants of Spurs. Gone.
It's crazy, guys. Honestly, Billy, since this whole kind of relegation battle's been going on, has there been any more kind of contact from people for change for Tottenham? Is it increased the kind of interest in wanting to change or wanting ENIC out, or protests? Has there been any change? Have you noticed?
I I'll be honest with you. You know, a lot of the momentum that we get is results based, which I don't think is, you know, again, I'm only grateful for any support that we get, but I think, for me, I think it's much deeper than that. I think, you know, the fact of the matter is when Tottenham lose, we get a surge of interest. When Tottenham win, we don't. And I think, you know, to move forward, I think we need a more stable core. And I think Maz is right. We are looking at doing the next step would be sort of funding and membership, which we've always been reluctant to do. Because I've always been reluctant to take people's money. So I think as soon as you do that, then, you know, you have to, not that anything dodgy would ever happen, but you're held to account. And you know, I don't want anyone to have to worry about where their money's going or anything like that. And obviously, we've been reluctant to do it, but I think that is the next step. But I think moving forward, what we need is people that are willing to protest if we're winning. If we're, you know, this goes far beyond match results and relegation. You know, these guys need to be gone whatever happens on the football pitch. So I think it is about upping the ante, whether that's membership, more marketing, stuff like that. But, you know, we're a very volatile fan base that sort of at the moment are reacting game by game, which is why at the end of a game you'll see loads of people boo the players and the manager, but why isn't that directed at the owners, you know? So we need to do better. As Change for Tottenham, we need to promote, but I don't know what it is. You know, I feel like the same sometimes. I question how can they keep getting away with it and getting away with it. I think a lot of the fact might be that maybe people in their stadium just aren't aware of what's going on, or they don't care. For example, you know, some people's experience of Tottenham is they go to the match with their family and they go home. You know, they don't absorb Tottenham on shows and podcasts and media and stuff like that. That's just their experience of Tottenham. So we need to do better. We need to promote it better, because, you know, I understand that people get very angry after a loss and are very disappointed at the moment, because we're in a relegation battle. But you know, there's 25 years of evidence from these owners that's not going away. So it's not about, well, Tottenham are winning a few games now. What's the point in protesting? We need to be doing this regardless of what's going on the pitch. So we definitely need to do better. But yeah, you know, of course, people, you know, we get more traction when we're in a relegation battle, but it's much deeper than any sort of result at the moment.
Cheers, Billy. There's a question from Cookie. He says, question for Billy. Do we have to make a concerted effort to arrange a protest for the end of the season to give plenty of time to publicise it to the Spurs fans to get bigger numbers? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's definitely something that we are. That's part of our plan for sure. The Everton home game is one that we're going to target in a big way, because we're really reluctant to touch matches at the moment because of, as in things that are happening during the match because of the relegation of it all. You know, I think it's, you know, as we've seen in the past, fans are in that stadium, want to support the team. Particularly during a relegation battle, but yeah, that one in particular, hopefully by then we'll either be safe or not safe. You know, let's say, for example, we get relegated on that day, then, you know, there should be some serious process after that game if that happens. But let's pray that doesn't happen, and we'll look back on that as something that is impossible. But for sure, that's a game that we're targeting in a big way, because by then our future will be decided. And if we stay up, if we go, I think it's very clear that these owners need to leave. So that's definitely something that we're going to be doing.
Billy, what I would say is, why is it that Chelsea and Arsenal can raise the numbers to go and protest? Surely their fans watch YouTube and stuff like that as well, right? You know, you know, like, is it the case that none of our fans watch YouTube apart from the, you know, the couple of hundred people that go and protest? That can't be the case, right? So,
I don't know.
I agree with you. I'm not. This is not. I'm not trying to dig out anything. I just think that Change for Tottenham need to operate like almost like a trust in a sense, right? So that when we write a letter to them or when we arrange a protest, we can say on behalf of, I don't know, 20,000 members at our trust or whatever, right? This is what we're saying to you, Tottenham Hotspur. Then they have to take you seriously because there's real
100%.
people behind
100%.
it.
And also we want to target sort of marketing towards those match-going fans as well. And, you know, that'll take a bit of money with leaflets and stuff like that. But, you know, we'll keep stepping it up because there's a big transparency, because, you know, you get 65,000 people in that stadium booing at the end of the game, but then where is that energy towards the owner? So there's a missing link somewhere. So we need to find out what that missing link is. But that's what we're going to try and do.
Yep, and also just one more thing, we'll close this off because I'm sure that people want to talk about the game and stuff, is that when that does happen, Billy, I would also recommend that you start a social media campaign where you do paid advertising Change for Tottenham, the protests and stuff like that, and just to raise awareness and reach people out there,
100%.
because that will force Tottenham to have to respond to you when things like that start happening.
Get an advert in the match day program.
Oh, how funny would that be? Imagine that.
See, the funny we've looked into billboards, you know. But the funny thing is,
I'm joking.
Tottenham. You wouldn't be surprised to know that Tottenham own all the billboards in the area. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, it's typical, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, guys, honestly, ideally, guys, we want Spurs to get a few wins, right? Be safe, and then really ramp the protests up, Billy. Right? That's the kind of ideal scenario, right?
That's the ideal, mate. That's the ideal.
Yeah, but we just don't know what the hell's going on at the moment. We can't even buy a win. So, look, let's crack on. But thanks, Billy, and big up to everyone.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the
protests.
suggestions as well.
What's that?
I really appreciate the suggestions as well. We're definitely taking everything on board.
Yeah, definitely, man. And yeah, fair play to you, man. To keep the fight up, it's very difficult. It's very challenging to keep it going, isn't it? Like, when there's, it's clearly not enough fans want to do anything about it. So, but don't give up, man. Don't give up. All right, let's move on to last night. Let's just say big up to people in the chat. Big up to everyone. Hope you please smash the like button and all of that. Subscribe if you're new. Big up to Rob as well. He just says ownership that's been running the club team one way for decades doesn't change the worldwide. What they do is sell and leave the world of club ownership. Big up to you, mate. How you doing? Okay, let's move on to the results yesterday. Obviously, there was a couple of games which, well, especially that kind of Leeds lost, didn't they, at home?
Yeah.
Let's have a look and just get the results from last night on the screen. Just bear with us a second. Yeah, here we are. So look, Leeds losing Sunderland. Anyone watch the game? Anyone follow it?
No.
I saw I saw that. I don't know if anyone saw the penalty that Leeds should have had. Another horrific VAR decision. Absolutely terrible.
But
he's absolutely
another chance.
Sorry, Billy. One of the, I think a Stuck Leeds got absolutely wrestled down in the box, and no penalty given. So it's not just us that's getting these horrific decisions at the moment.
But yeah, another chance, guys, for Spurs if they can get a win tomorrow to get above Leeds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other notable result there was the Wolves' first Liverpool match, right?
Crazy result that was.
But doesn't that tell you, though, guys? Like, they were down and out, right? Wolves, and they've picked it up. Last 3 games, they got a draw against Arsenal, beat Villa, now beat Liverpool. It does show you that a team can pick it back up, right? So, when we're thinking about Spurs and they can't win a game,
you got to have a full strength or near to full strength squad. You've got to have players picked in their right positions.
Yeah,
and you've got to have balance through the team. And if you haven't got it, it doesn't matter if your squad on paper is better than the other team. Look how organised Fulham were. They play to a system. They have players that are bought to play that system, and they look so much more comfortable on the ball. The passing, the movement was so much better than ours. So much better. We're talking about Fulham. This shows you how far back we've gone. We've got hardly anybody who can put their foot on the ball and pass the ball. And pass the ball and make sure it goes from A to B most of the time. And we're struggling. We're struggling big time. And I just hope that he starts playing players in their right positions, like the other clubs, that you just listed from yesterday. Dan, they've got managers that organise the players, play to the players' strengths. It's not the same with us. And how can it be? You've had 6 managers in 6 years. They all play a slightly different way. Players are bought for different managers. And so each manager, when they take over, they've got players that don't fit the system, that aren't bought for the system, that they probably don't even fancy. So,
but I don't. I tell you what, I've got to be careful how I say it, Lubo, because I don't want to come across as. I think what you're saying is correct, but I also think the counter argument to that is we're not the only club that chops and changes managers. I mean, when you look at the average tenure of Premier League clubs, they chop and change managers too. I think what we're seeing, however, is a massive problem with hierarchy and culture at the club. There's no respect for the football club. And the reason why there's no respect for the football club is because there's no respect for the history. There's no respect for our past achievements. There's no emphasis on being on merit, on being successful, right? It's all for ENIC and the hierarchy. It's all money. How are we going to attain more money? How are we going to, hold Beyonce concerts and build our hotel and stuff like that? There's no emphasis on building a winning culture in the club. And when you're right, and this is where I do agree with you, Lubo, when you have a catalogue of managers coming through the door that can't build a culture or a mentality, and the players just absolutely lose respect for everything at the club, which is what's happened now. None of those. I look at Romero and Van der Ven and Vicario and Porro and Basuma, and just the list can go on and on and on. And I look at them and think, do they actually respect the manager or the hierarchy or Lange or the club or the badge or anything? They don't look like they do. And maybe that's the reason why they're not trying or they're not fighting. Because when you look at Wolves players or West Ham players, not that West Ham are a model in which we should base ourselves on, they look like they're fighting for their club and to stay up.
Leeds,
and I just think that one of the reasons why we've seen such a dip in form from even our better players like a Romero and a Van der Ven and a Porro over the last 3 years is they've just lost respect for Tottenham Hotspur. And you can lay that blame on the managers, but really the blame is on ENIC and the board and the hierarchy, because and this is why I say this, and this is why I think we're in such massive trouble. Maybe regardless of what manager we bring in, but I'm sure we'll cover that later on. But Romero, for me, when he got the red card and when he done his outbursts in the media, a club with standards and process and discipline in their ranks would have rebuked Romero regardless of whether he was the captain or not at the club or how important he was, right? The mentality of no one is bigger than the club should have kicked in, right? But no one's got any balls at Spurs. They're all frightened to death. None of the management know what to do. So, and how then by them not saying to the team, think of it like a soldier. If the captain of the platoon or the general goes against his country, and then the government and the country don't reprimand the court martial the general or the captain, then what does that tell the soldiers? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how the dysfunction happens. And Romero for me was like the catalyst of this breakdown and in the players' mood. And look at Van der Ven as a result of what's happened since then.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Against Fulham, the guy looked like he's broken, like the manager. It looks like he's absolutely like his brain is gone. And this is what I see downstream of the issues.
Yeah. No, you're right. Everything you say. I wanted to kind of break it down a little bit more about Tudor, actually. I want your guys' opinion. Because obviously he's calling out the players already, right? He's saying they lack personality. He was bigging up Fulham, saying they were like kind of faster to the ball, smarter, used their brains. And it kind of that comes across that our players are just not good enough. So this whole approach with Tudor of calling out the players in public, I don't think it's really helped. So I don't want to go to Matt here. Is this approach the right approach, or did they need an arm around the shoulder?
Again, it's down to research. You know, yeah. I mean, I didn't know much about Tudor, but all the football experts said he's a no nonsense. He's a disciplinarian. He's played most of his football, most of his coaching in Italy, which has a very structured, disciplined setup. And then he finds himself at Spurs, and I don't know about you guys, but he's only been here 2 weeks, and he looks like he's aged already. You look at his interviews; they're getting more and more desperate. He's in just a short space of time, he's almost called out 3 or 4 players already. So I think I'm just going to go with something here for a moment. I don't know if Lubo remembers this film, but there used to be a film called The Stepford Wives, and they remade it to an extent, a film called Get Out, which came out about 6-7 years ago. And you go to this wonderful, picturesque area, beautiful houses. Everybody looks really friendly, and the hedges are all nice and pristine. But slowly but surely, when you go there, you think something's not right here. Something's amiss. And it's like the managers, when they come to Spurs, the stadium looks fantastic. Probably in the interview, the owners maybe say you'll get A, B, C, and D in the transfer window. But after a period of time, the managers think something's not right here. And then you go to some of the players, and if you think about it, Berbatov, Modric, Defoe, they get to a level, and then they think, I can't complete my journey with Spurs. There's something missing here. And then they leave. This is going to happen to Van der Ven. Now, when you're asking me about Romero, I think the players are in awe of Romero. He's a World Cup winner. He's let himself down and he's let us down, obviously. But what I'm saying is, Romero's probably looked.
Is he running the show, Matt? Is that what you're saying?
Pardon?
Is he running the show, Romero?
To an extent, because he's probably, after what's he been here 4 seasons? Is this his 5th season? He's probably thinking, is this it? Is this it? And if he was at a bigger club with better players, when he has these antics and this red mist and these red cards, if he was at a top club, he wouldn't get his place back because the players replacing him would be top players as well. But at Spurs, he knows, I get sent off twice in 5 games. If I serve a 4-match ban, Romero will play the first game back from suspension. We all know it. He's not going on the bench. Romero will walk straight back into that team. So any team with those aspirations, you're set up to fail. You're set up to fail. The club is not built to win. The squad that's been assembled is not set up to win. And it seeps through the corridors, it seeps through the training ground, and it seeps into the match days. So, unfortunately, I think Tudor in 2 weeks he's been one of the Stepford Wives. This isn't right.
So, do you think it's the wrong approach or the right approach? Guys, anyone can respond.
Well, I think Tudor's speaking like he's still at Juventus or he's at Lazio or a structured club, and he's probably realised after 2 weeks these players they're not signed up to what I'm asking them to do. So he's set up to fail. I'm not saying I rate Tudor. I'm not saying we're going to go on a 5-match unbeaten run, but I think in 2 games he's realised this isn't what I thought.
I love that comparison, man. Matt, honestly, the Stepford Wives. I totally know that film and that Get Out as well. There's such a good one, man.
Yeah, I think me and Lou. I mean, I was alive when we got relegated last time, so that's why I know about the Stepford Wives. And Lou, do you remember that film?
I never saw it, but I do remember it.
Okay.
Remember.
So I'm pleased, Dan, that you remember it.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Yeah, there's been quite a few films like that, isn't there? There was another one out
Truman Show,
more recent as well. Forgot the name of it now.
Truman Show with Jim Carrey was something similar, and that is Spurs. We are the Stepford Wives.
We are.
We're not run like a proper football club, like any other football club, and that's
It
the
looks
problem.
it, Lubo. It looks it though. You look at the stadium and 60,000 fan base. It looks it, but once you scratch beneath the surface,
It's not. It hasn't been since. For me, it hasn't been since Sugar got rid of Venables.
But Ian, I want to just keep on topic here. Is Tudor coming with the right approach?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you've got to. I think for me, I was asked at the beginning of January who I wanted. I went for Redknapp with Carrick, latterly with Redknapp with Defoe. I think players need an arm round them. I think they need to be told that they're better than they actually are, rather than being told you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. That can be done on the training grounds. It doesn't need to be blasted across the press. Don't think, if you're a player and they're struggling, they know they're struggling. They know they're, four draws and 60 defeats from 10 games. They'd have to be idiots to be or in denial. I don't think any of them are. They all know that. They all know where they stand. And I think if you've got an interim manager coming in and he's shouting his mouth off and he's calling everybody out, you're looking at that thinking, well, he's going to be gone in 3 months. What we're doing here, and it's not. You see, players are lacking confidence. I think there's possibly an air of arrogance that they're better than they actually are. And I think you needed somebody like a Redknapp with a Defoe on the coaching, on the training pitch to come in, and you got to get players up for it. And we seem to start every match virtually really poorly. The first 2 or 3 minutes is okay, they press, and then it just goes. And the first half this year has normally been very poor. We need somebody who's going to get them up. And if Tudor loses tomorrow, which I don't think he will, but if he loses tomorrow and then Liverpool, I fully expect us to go out of the Champions League. So by the time you get to Forest, he could have been in charge of 6 defeats. And that's worrying because, if we're still ahead of West Ham and Forest, because of the fixtures, because their fixtures aren't kind either. We get to the Forest game, it'll be majorly squeaky bum time. And if the players are losing game after game, and if they've gone, 16 games or 14, 15 games without a win, I shudder to think where it will end.
That's precisely why you go with the safe appointment of a Redknapp and Defoe or Sheringham or Sherwood or whatever it is, and it's not nostalgia. It's before Redknapp came to Spurs, he was known as that saving the club specialist, like a Sam Allardyce back in those days, and so it's not. So he's got experience of it, but he's also got experience of managing Tottenham, got experience of managing world-class players like Bale and Modric and all of that stuff. Right, he knows the club. I think I'm going to stress this: people that know Spurs, that have been around Spurs, that's so integral to them getting a tune out of our current crop of players, because there'll be instant respect there from the players. Like if you're an ex-player or an ex-manager coming in, you can, Harry Redknapp and a Defoe or a Sherwood or whatever can turn around to these players and say, hold on a minute, I know what Spurs is all about. Don't you tell us what Spurs is about. We know what Spurs is about. This is the standard. This is what you have to do. This is what we expect. And Redknapp will put his arm round, Solanke and say, you're a top player, mate. You're a top player. And, get a tune out of him and all that sort of stuff.
Tudor ain't done it, Maz, though, is he? Matt,
right?
What do you think of Tudor's approach?
Well, look, I actually liked his initial interviews when he first came. In the sense, I thought, okay, yeah, fair enough. He seems like he's got his head switched on. But I've got to say, after the first couple of games, he just doesn't look like he's got a clue. And following his post-match press conferences, you're right. He's laying into them. But the problem is that he's got is we're so broken as a club that giving them that stick rather than the carrot type approach, not sure it's suited to the situation. It may be for certain players and not for others. I mean, is that going to work with Van der Ven and Romero? Because they're the two players you need to get firing on all cylinders to save us. If I'm honest, I can't see anyone else in that team that needs to put in that can influence and put in performances like those two players can. So no, I don't think he has approached it the right way, but he needs to bloody figure it out soon, because I've said if we don't pick up points against Fulham and Crystal Palace, we're going down. And by the looks of things, I don't see us getting any points against Palace. So I'm sorry, guys, but I think we're going to go down if we don't beat Palace. So
yeah, it's crazy.
What can I say? It's you can see it in the papers, right? They're in the reports coming out there, they're already considering sacking him. They might have to. They might have to sack him. If we lose against Palace, they might literally hit the red alert button, right? And say, fucking Redknapp, you've got to come in right now, because we're going to go down, mate, if you don't come in right now and somehow get 3-4 wins from now until the end of the season. Or, like you said, Lubo, before we know it, we'll be 6 losses down and we've got no games left to be able to save us.
It's concerning. Honestly, guys, I ain't given up hope yet, but a lot of this now is on the Palace game. Fulham, we weren't expected to win, right? Clearly, they're better side than us right now. Arsenal didn't expect us to win, but Palace is a game, and we're going to go and talk about it a bit later. Is an essential win. I just want to go to Billy quickly, and then I want to move on to his tactics, because that's got to be questioned a lot. Billy, his approach, Tudor, what you seeing it as?
Well, I think ultimately, he's in a position with 10 games that his approach will live and die by the results, won't it? So if he goes and wins tomorrow, you can say that it worked well done. If it doesn't, then he has to. I think he'll go. Like I said, I think if he loses tomorrow, he's gone, which is mad that he's 3 games into a career at Tottenham. But I think it's that simple. When you've got Liverpool next, we're not playing at the weekend because of the FA Cup result, obviously. So the new manager would have a bit of time. If we lose tomorrow, play the kids first stuff. Let's go. You know what I mean? We can't afford to worry about the Champions League if we lose tomorrow. So the new manager will be able to come in, and then if we win, then it would have worked. But all I can think of is my experience as a teacher. When you're in front of a class, the last thing you want to do is tell them that they're all rubbish. That definitely doesn't work. I can tell you that for a fact. I've done it, and definitely doesn't work. You need a shoulder,
Billy, mate, hasn't he? He's gone 2 games in completely, calling out everyone. It's a madness, and because he did talk, and like Maz said, he talked a lot of sense. I thought, okay, I like.
Well, nothing he's saying is wrong either.
Yeah,
he's completely right in everything that he's saying. They are useless. They are rubbish. But Premier League footballers are babies. They're absolute, emotional babies, and it shouldn't be that way. But unfortunately, it is. They need to hear some half truths, but they also need to win a game of football. So
did it have to be in public, Billy? He could have said this behind closed doors.
People like Mourinho will never publicly criticise the players. He'll always take them. He'll always, people like that. They always take it on the brunt for themselves, and then in private they probably go mental at them. Because you want to see your manager defending you in public. It goes a long way for your sort of the way that respond to you. And let's be real. Let's have it right. These players do need to hear some hard truths. They're an absolute disgrace. The fact that they're in a relegation battle, the fact that they could be the players to relegate a club like Tottenham, that should be enough for them to think this can't possibly happen.
We're going to talk about the players in a minute, honestly, Billy, guys. We're going to talk about the players.
As good as down Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they're 18 points adrift. They've won 2 games in the last 3. They've beaten Liverpool. They've beaten Villa. They've drew with Arsenal. How is it a team that is already essentially relegated showing more fight than these absolute idiots that we've got at our football club? It's a disgrace.
Well, I think the reason for that, Billy, and this is something I would have expected someone like Tudor, who's a specialist in saving clubs. I say specialist in saving clubs, is that you quickly identify who's fighting for the club and who's not. And if when I see Van der Ven and when I see, I don't know if it's fair for me to pick up Vicario or when I see Porro or Basuma, you quickly realise they're not fighting for the club. I really don't think Van der Ven's fighting for the club. I think he's gone, mate. I think he's after that Fulham game. I genuinely think his head is gone, and that's where a strong manager comes in and says, "You know what? I don't care who you are. If you're not going to do the job, Danze, you're in. You're going to fight, right? Porro, you're not playing well. Byfield, you're in. Don't care how old you are. You're coming in." As long as you fight and run and do what I say, you're in. That's the only way you can do what Tudor's doing. Like, if you're having to go at the players, you've got to be willing to drop them and replace them and say, right, guys, who's going to fight for me and who's not, and separate the wheat from the chaff. But maybe you can't do that because of all the injuries. But
no one plays any academy players either, do they? And they never put the academy boys in.
They just need players that are going to run through a brick wall for the manager type thing. Like quickly separate the troublemakers.
They haven't, though, have they? Let's be honest here.
This is what I don't understand. Like, I think people like Mourinho, Conte, Pochettino were really good at this. When they come into a club, they quickly figure out who are their players and who aren't, and they get out the players who aren't their players. Right? Pochettino done it brilliantly when he came to Spurs. When we were in a bit of disarray, he came in and he weeded out all of the troublemakers in that dressing room straight away, right? Frank didn't do that, and this is how they repaid him, right? And if Tudor doesn't do that very quickly, and I don't even know if it's too late for him to do that. Maybe it's too late, right? Then I can't see how he's going to change the situation around. So I don't agree with what Tudor's doing because he's not willing to drop the Van der Ven, is he? He's not willing to drop a Porro now he's back. This is the problem. This is the problem.
Guys, can we talk about this tactics and stuff? And I want to talk about the players as well. And I want to hear from all of you and everyone in the chat as well. So, like, obviously, Tudor, first game, he tried to play his way. Yeah. Press, man-to-man press. Then he realised, it didn't work. So he abandoned his whole system and says, we're going to be like a small team. We're going to play like a small team. And then he starts talking. It's not about tactics. It's not about systems. But what we've seen, it's nothing has changed. And you look at that game against Fulham, and when I saw the lineup, and I'm sure most of the fan base felt the same, it just didn't make sense. Xavi out on the left wing, Gallagher on the right wing. And it was we just got completely outrun by Fulham, right? It was just so easy for them. It was terrible. It was a terrible performance. We didn't offer anything until the second half when he made that triple substitution. Richarlison got the goal. Even Stel was trying. I think he done okay. But if nothing changes on the pitch, and some people can say, well, it was even worse than Frank. It looks even worse than Frank. What's the bloody point of changing the manager? Because where is the new manager bounce? Guys, anyone, take it away.
I think Gallagher on the right wing is unforgivable on every level. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you have a full week of training with these players? And I think I'm serious. It was a major red flag this Fulham game for me for Tudor. I think the way that he's playing players out of position. I think if you've already sort of lost the players and you're going to come slag them off, then at least play them in the right positions. You know what I mean? Like, you can't expect to get that buy-in from players if you're sticking a central midfielder on the right wing, if you're sticking a 19-year-old centre mid on the left back when we've got a left back, a naturally left-footed left back on the bench. And I know Sousa's young, but every time he's come on, he's looked much better than who he's replaced. So it's baffling to me, mate. And I think he's badly misprofiled some of the players. I think playing 4-4-2 as well is an interesting one because I don't see any top manager using that system anymore. You just get overrun in midfield these days. You need 3 centre midfielders at least now. And, even a team like Fulham, they've got players like Sander Berger in the middle. It's going to have a field day with us, Harry Wilson. So baffling to try and think that, I don't know any other team that plays 4-4-2 in the Premier League these days. I think it was a major concern for me, mate. And if he doesn't, chances are, as soon as we came on the second half and he put some players on in their right positions, he brought Sousa on, he brought Tell on a winger to actually play on the wing and started playing. I mean, Solanke was almost playing as a number 8 at times in the first half. Like, what?
Oh, mate, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all. It was atrocious.
Yeah, and as soon as we
honestly,
put players on the right position, we start playing well and we get a goal back, and then we should have, we had a bit of fight again. But if he sticks with a team like that against tomorrow, we're done. We're over.
Billy, you've got to jump, haven't you, mate? I appreciate you coming on.
I'll speak to you guys soon, I'm sure. Thank you very much, everyone.
Take care, mate.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
mate.
Love you.
Look, West Ham has scored, and I've been monitoring that game, while I'm doing the show. The chances West Ham are creating against Fulham, they're giving them a game. And this is massive, massive concerns, isn't it? Because we didn't lay a finger at all on Fulham. And we have to question Tudor, guys. Matt, we have to, right? We've got to question him because it was...
Not good enough. Dan.
Where is the bounce? Where is the bounce? When a new manager comes in, where is it?
Well, Wolves didn't get it under Edwards. West Ham didn't get it initially under Nuno.
Fair enough, yeah.
It's not necessarily get a bounce. The players aren't good enough. It's just not good enough. You got no left back at the moment. You got hopefully he'll play Sousa. No one knows if he's any good. He's just a 19-year-old kid they brought in from Brazil. We got no win.
But Ian, let's talk about Tudor.
Ian,
We're going to
I don't
talk
agree
about
with
players.
that. These players aren't good enough, right?
They're not good enough.
No, but as a team, possibly they're not good enough. But what I mean is,
Players aren't good enough.
like if you listen, Emmanuel Petit and even Simon Jordan had that discussion yesterday, right? And Petit said, I think a lot of those players have come from clubs, one that have been doing better than us in recent years, but two, they're all international players. Like, look, when we brought Dragusin in, he was Bayern Munich were after him. Right, so it can't have been that bloody bad, right? When we bought him, Vicario, Stel's boy Ange bought him in. He was sought after in Italy.
It was Perisic brought him in before Ange. Ange inherited Vicario.
Alistair Gold said it literally on his last podcast that Ange
sorting out his backside. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's immaterial, right?
Yeah.
He got bought in, right? Porro, it was a top, right wing back, right? For Sporting. Right. Adoji was brilliant for Udinese. I remember watching quite a bit of him, right? Spence when he was at Forest before he came to us. Look, I'm not saying these guys are the answer, and I'm not trying to say these are great players and we should be thinking. All I'm saying is that when you look at these players individually, where they've been, where they've come from, they're not relegation for the players, a lot of them. They're just not, right? Xavi came from RB Leipzig. They're not relegation for the team, right? Muwani was at Juventus on loan and PSG before that. I'm not saying he's the answer.
That's
They're
right.
not relegation for the players.
But Maz, you've got to have balance in a team.
I agree. And
we have no balance. We have no
I
winners.
agree on that wholeheartedly. I agree on that wholeheartedly.
But guys,
we have one
but
fullback.
Look, okay.
Udog is permanently injured. Spence is a right back. Porro is a right wing back. We have nothing on the left. We have no top left winger. We have no right winger without Kudus. Telenoda are not good enough. Gray and Bergvall, for me, are very good squad players. Basuma, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to be at the races most games. Gallagher's walked into a complete mess. Paulinho has had a decent season. He's probably been our player of the year. Van der Ven's lost interest. Romero has his bozo moments, but very good moments. He's inconsistent. Vicario unfortunately can't kick. He's a great shot stopper, but whenever he's got the ball, and unfortunately they keep giving him the ball and he keeps giving it back to the other team. The strikers we have from that top four, the front four, shall I say, Xavi, Richie, Solanke and Muwani. I think there's 13 goals this season in the league.
I'm not
13
Ian,
from that four. I mean,
Ian,
it's so dysfunctional, Maz.
It's dysfunctional, but what I mean is, as an individually, you can't.
It's a team game. It's a team game, and
that's where the managers come involved, right? And that's where managers like Ange and Frank have, and Lange, obviously bringing in the squad and the players that we have massively fucked us, basically,
completely,
right? And Look, no one predicted that we were going to be in a relegation battle. Everyone said we'll be mid-table, or some said 7th, some said 8th, some said 9th. I think I said 9th.
No one said relegation at the beginning of the season.
But I look, again, I'm not saying this to say that these players are fantastic, brilliant players. But when you have 3 crap managers in a row, right? Let's just take a step back. Gallagher, right? Gallagher comes in, £50 million. He's getting fantastic wages, right? What has he done since he's come here?
Nothing.
Why is that, Ian?
That's where we have to ask why. Why is he, who's not been a part of Tottenham Hotspur, not had time to absorb the culture or anything?
No.
Why has he come in and all of a sudden looks like he can't kick a football?
But all the goals from last season have gone.
No, but
so
forget about that. Just answer my question. Just focus on that.
He started off very poorly, really poorly.
Okay, same with Xavi then. Why has Xavi come from RB Leipzig? When you compare his stats, they're comparable to like a Maddison and a Kulu, right, in the German league. Why has he come and can't kick a football? This is what I mean. This is what I don't. This is why
the Premier League is much tougher than the Bundesliga. Much tougher. Wirtz before he's got injured has just about started.
But when you watch Wirtz play, his quality.
Right, but
forget about his output in terms of goals and assists. When you watch him play, he's a quality player.
But he took months to settle in at Liverpool. Months before he acclimatised to the pace and the intensity. Simmons, why has Simmons been at different clubs? Why hasn't he? He's PSG. He's been at Leipzig.
23 years old.
I don't know. I've got to tell you, I'm just.
I know what you mean. Look,
the managers, Ian.
All I'm saying
can you talk about the managers?
Yeah.
Sorry, Maz. I just want to come in here for my point. Ian, talk about the managers, because Frank done an awful job, right? And I think throughout the whole season, the players just completely lost confidence now. They're on the floor, plus the injuries.
Well, hang on. Kudos started very well, and we started off with 14 points from the first 7 games. And it all went pear-shaped from Chelsea onwards.
So why did it? Why though? Why did it all fall off?
Well, Kudus was running to the ground. Solanke's only just come back. Moana's been a disaster, and Richie's Richie. So, but where are the goals coming from? There was a 91 GA last year from Son, Maddison, Kulusevski, Son.
Yeah, but it's about the system, Ian, sorry. It's about the system. It's about the manager, how he sets up the team. He set this team up so pragmatic. He didn't put anything going into the front line, right? And this went on and on and on.
But Dan, they don't create anything. The front men don't create anything. They're not good enough. I think we've got to stop. We've got to bring ourselves back from years ago and into the present. And look at the squad. This is the worst squad I think I can remember.
Didn't they finish 5th a couple of seasons ago?
But look who's gone from that squad. Son, Maddison, Kulusevski. Who else is there? They're the main 3 who were creating things. We haven't got.
That's where I agree.
There's no firepower. There is no firepower at the club. Who's going to score the goals?
I agree with you, and this is where I feel that the managers have massively let down the club because Moani and Kulu got injured, and they brought in Xavi. They already had Kudus, who let's be honest, Kudus came in right to effectively. Must have been to replace Kulu on the right hand side, because 2 of them aren't going to fit in the team, are they? Right, especially when Maddison was there. So Kulu was going to play second fiddle to Maddison in the playmaker role, or a backup to Kudus. So that's one player replaced, and we know Xavi was brought in effectively to replace Maddison. So that is down to the recruitment and the thing. We never thought that Xavi wasn't going to do as well as Maddison when he came in. We were saying when Xavi came in, that was an amazing signing, that potentially he might even be better than what Eze has been in terms of output when we said that. And none of us predicted that Muani was going to be the way he was. Everyone was delighted when Muani came. Right, so we did replace the players.
Though.
The fact that as time has gone on, they haven't done as well, I think is much of a symptom of the bad management and overall bad recruitment of the club and the managers.
But
you can't just blame it on the players and just say it's just the players. It's got to be both.
We have unrealistic expectations. Players come
to be in a relegation battle, Ian?
And we think
we're in a relegation battle.
And we beginning of the season, Muani comes in. And everybody thinks he's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Well, you did as well, Ian. I remember I've watched the show.
I thought
what I don't get about you guys, right?
Better than he has.
You guys act right, and when I say you guys, when I've seen you on the Spurs 5, right, and Savage channel, like us as an audience haven't watched what everyone said when Muani and everyone came in. We all saw what you guys said, Ian. No one was unhappy with Muani, Xavi, Kudus, Paulinho coming in. Everyone was delighted. Everyone says Tottenham have never done this before. So let's not pretend that all of a sudden.
What did we actually achieve, Maj? What did we achieve in that window?
What did we achieve?
What did we achieve in that window?
Exactly what Spurs achieve every bloody season. Not much.
Exactly. Paulinho came in. Paulinho wasn't a replacement. Kudus replaced something.
Paulinho wasn't a replacement for what?
Paulinho wasn't a replacement for anybody because we didn't have a 6.
He wasn't. We did have a 6. We sold him, Højbjerg.
No, but we didn't last season. Højbjerg was gone the year before.
Yeah, fine.
Right.
I agree with that.
But last year's team,
Paulinho coming in. Hold on. Let's go.
We replaced 3 players. Let's
go step by step. Otherwise, we're going to talk over each other, right? Yeah. Paulinho coming in was an amazing loan signing for us. He's a quality player. Frank was dropping him every bloody week after a while for no reason whatsoever. And we couldn't figure it out, right? How many points would we have won if Frank played Paulinho when he should have played him?
I don't know.
Exactly. So that's a manager decision, right? So, and everyone was delighted. I don't think there was one person on any YouTube panel that I saw who wasn't happy with Paulinho coming in. Not one.
No,
right?
No. Everybody was happy. I felt we needed it. We got him 2 years too late.
Fine. I agree with you on that. Yeah, you're right. I would have loved him if he was younger 2 years ago. I agree with you. Yeah. Right. Xavi came in. Right. And we were ecstatic with Xavi coming in. That was the first signing we've made as Tottenham Hotspur that we thought, wow, okay, fair enough. You know, that is a great player. The fact that they haven't performed at Tottenham Hotspur, for me, is the main issue. It's not that they're shit players. It's why aren't they performing at Spurs? What is it at Spurs? Well, we know why. I'm just speaking aloud there. What is it at Spurs that when we buy in players that have done well in other clubs, right, come to Spurs and fail? But anyway, so look, I don't want to. That's all I've got to say on it, Ian. I'm not trying to pick an argument with you.
No.
I'm just.
What I wanted to hear from everyone, and Matt hasn't spoken for a while. I want his take on the players, right? Because we all have our views. It's not right who's right or wrong. You know, Ian, just before we go to Matt, Ian is kind of now going towards the players are the bigger problem than the manager. Is that right, Ian?
I said this last season.
Well, that's your opinion, man.
That's right.
It's how you feel.
It was last season. I thought Ange's system was horrendous and didn't do the players any favours whatsoever. Left us wide open. But my problem with the players last year was the amount of unforced errors that they were making that were ending up in goals. And you know, you look at that, but okay, you know, it's the Europa League papered over the cracks.
Yeah.
Because the form guides since those first 10 games of Ange have been absolutely dreadful and getting worse and worse and worse. In Ange's 2 years, split those 2 seasons into 4 halves, We got 36 points, then 30, then 24, then 14. It was a gradual decline. This year, Frank started off very well, and I don't know why it's just gone. It's just gone to pot. It's just gone. I think Kudus was a lot to do with it, and other clubs were like putting 2 and 3 players on him, and there was nothing else. Xavi has been very disappointing. He played well. He had a little cameo at Brighton. I think he played well against Dortmund, but apart from that, we've seen nothing much from him. And he's the creator. We've got nobody to create chances, and if you haven't got anyone creating, and if you haven't got any sort of not even prolific but regular,
who was creating last season for us? Madison, right? Who was creating last season for us?
Madison created,
right? And we bought in Xavi to replace him, haven't we? Effectively,
but he's nowhere near the level of Madison.
Look, he's turned out to be nowhere near the level of Madison, right? Because of the way Spurs are.
He wasn't beforehand. Xavi's still learning his trade. He's only 22. Madison's 29. So,
Rich in the chat. Can we read this comment out, guys? Because I agree with this, right? Because I want to say my bit, but I want to hear from Matt in a minute. But think about it. We had Ange who told the players just throw the league and we lose 22 games. Then followed by Frank who told them we will lose games. You're not a European quality side. I see it like that. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute, but I want to hear from Matt because he sat there patiently there. Matt, come on, mate. Come on, have your say.
I think I'll agree with Maz to a point, which is that if you just talking from a YouTube channel, forget the average fan, but when the signings came in the summer, they were waxing lyrical over Xavi Simons. There were some channels that were saying he was the best signing Spurs have made in 10 seasons. They were waxing lyrical over him. Kudos. They were waxing lyrical over Kudos. Now we can finally bench Brendan Johnson. We've now got the talisman, which is Kudos. They were obviously waxing lyrical. We've now got a number 6. So I think hindsight is a great thing. And I think now these players haven't performed at a consistent level. They've pivoted to, I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect anything from this squad. So I think they've been a little bit disingenuous because this is the first time in many seasons that we've signed the level of players that couldn't go straight into the 11. For the last 5 or 6 years, we've signed inexperienced, cheap, reasonable potential, but not oven ready. So when you go into this season with the players that we brought in, the unknown anomaly was how would Xavi Simons perform in the Premier League? Nobody knew that. The question marks over Paulinho was, is he the same player that was at Fulham 2 or 3 seasons ago? I think we'll all agree he's slightly on the downward curve, but he's still much better than what we had in the number 6. So I think we've signed 2 poor managers in Ange Postecoglou and Thomas Frank, and I think that's the bigger problem. They haven't also been furnished with the players to supplement the squad because we're playing 2 games a week. That's also been a contributing factor. But I don't think any honest fan would have said, even budgeting for injuries, we should be 16th. Just like they said, we shouldn't have finished 17th last season. So I think now this narrative is, it's the players. I think Thomas Frank got away with it for far longer than he should have. I think he got a pass for far too long for me. The dropping of Paulinho, I can't believe that never got scrutinised a lot earlier than it did. I thought he made some strange decisions in some of the games where we were either winning, and I think he went too defensive too early. There was always question marks about Thomas Frank. He's never managed a team playing in European competition. How is he going to manage? And the stat that was the most alarming about Thomas Frank for me was we've never, after going in at halftime losing, we've never come back and won a football match this season in the Premier League. And I think that was the most alarming stat for me. And the reason for that is sometimes a manager earns his true salary at halftime. They look at the first half, they look at what's working, then they look at what's not working and make the relevant changes. In all the Premier League games this season under Thomas Frank, when we went in losing, we never came back from it. And that was, to me, the worrying thing, that either the players aren't listening to him or he doesn't know what to do. And either answer is not good for Thomas Frank. So, yes, we all know Tottenham should buy better players. I don't think that's in any dispute. But I think it's as simple as we've had 2 poor managers over the last 3 seasons, and we are where we are. And until that changes, yes, the ownership needs to be replaced. But I didn't hear many fans talking about when Harry Kane got sold 3 days before the season started. That just kind of got missed. This season, everyone's talking about Son. We've lost Son's GA. We've lost Maddison's GA. We've lost Kulusevski's GA. No channel on YouTube talked about the goals and the GAs that Kane.
We did.
We
were at Tottenham away. We were talking about Daniel Levy thought that Richarlison was his replacement, hence why he didn't sign anyone. Don't you recall when we were saying that you can just imagine when Ange's first season, when he sat down with Daniel Levy's going to say, I've signed Harry Kane's replacement. It cost me 60 million quid. His name's Richarlison, the real R9 from Brazil.
Okay, I'll take your word on that, Maz. But I don't think enough channels. Use that example like they're using it this season. Harry Kane.
You're right, but we did finish 5th, right? We did finish 5th, so.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, Maz, it was still alarming that the talisman Harry Kane.
I agree.
Was sold 3 days before the first game of the season, and all he did is he moved Matt, Son.
The amount of times we talked about succession planning and how that there's no succession planning when it comes to buying players, and Kane leaving. We predicted this 2 seasons before Kane left when he was going to go see. We were saying, I bet you there's no bloody succession plan for him. And I was saying, it's a shame we can't go back. I was saying back then, our biggest problem will be when Son goes, right? Because Dan was sure that Son, there's no succession plan for Son, because how many wingers are there out there? This is ENIC all over. They stumbled upon world-class Gareth Bale, right? They stumbled upon world-class Modric. They sort of stumbled upon world-class Berbatov. They sort of stumbled upon world-class bloody Kane, and they stumbled upon world-class Son. I mean, it's like, as Lubo always says, and I know Lubo always says this, your luck's going to run out one day, and it has. It's totally run out.
But Maz, think about this, right? Think about this. Look at the analogy now that if Tottenham get relegated, the owners will, correct their mistakes, and they've got the PR machine saying that they're now going to change the wage bill. When you have 2 golden nuggets in Kane and Son, why didn't they change the wage bill then? That was the time to change the wage bill. Why didn't they break the transfer record when you had 2 guaranteed goals in Kane and Son? This
is why ENIC are shambles of an ownership, and why they sold everyone a lie, and why the fan base didn't see through them. I've said this many times, so apologies for repeating myself to everyone, but I knew that this ownership was a loser ownership when they didn't back Harry Redknapp, right, that season. I'll never forget it. I remember it as clear as day, and I always remember my older brother. I was in the car with my brother, right, and we were talking about Harry Redknapp, right? And it's a couple of results after Saha and Nelson came in, right? And I said, you know what? I said, we're never going to win anything under this ownership. And obviously we like last year won the Europa, but since then, I was right. They're the most loser ownership you could ever wish for. They've had that decade was the most magnificent decade for them to truly build something, when they had Harry Redknapp and then they had Poch, and all they could think about was building the stadium and lowering their wage bill so they can fund other projects around Spurs.
That's right.
That's all they could think about. And then you had other YouTubers, I'm not going to mention their names, saying do you remember, Lubo, how great it was that Spurs were only 3% down or 4% down on their do you remember that discussion, Ian? Right? Yeah. Right. And now all of a sudden they've had a damaging conversion, and now they're with the ENIC out, Levy out thing. What a load of bollocks. Shame on them. And I hope they're watching this. Shame on them, because I don't forget that shit, right? This is the reason why our fan base is so PTSD'd and confused with protesting and stuff, because you had half the bloody YouTubers protecting bloody ENIC, right? And far too few of us wanting ENIC out. Sorry, I'm just getting animated, but yeah.
Wow.
There we go, Ian. Ian, it's time to roll out the 37-point manifesto. get that on the Change for Tottenham membership thing when they sign up.
So it says you've just been denied a penalty. Fulham West Ham's gone into the 99th on 100th minute. Arsenal's in the 97th minute. And City Forest is in the 97th minute as well. Jesus.
Well, yeah, look, to me, it's been bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and you end up in this quagmire that we're now in. And YouTubers will try and justify and just argue the point just to kind of get the last word in every conversation. They're now repeating what we said back then.
Listen, everyone's entitled to an opinion, Matt. It's true. And that's the beauty of football. And if we all agreed, wouldn't YouTube be boring? So
no, I understand that, Luby.
I've got no issues with people that disagree with me, as long as it's done in a respectful way and you don't get people shouting and screaming and swearing at you. It's all a bit of fun at the end of the day. But I mean, tonight's been pretty disastrous for us, hasn't it? Really, these results, if it stays like this for the next couple of minutes, then Forest and West Ham are a point behind us.
But Lubo, it's been coming. Forest and West Ham have been playing well for a good month. They've been playing good football, So it was always coming. We are the. I don't know if you've got the stats done. I've got it somewhere. I can forward it to you. But have you seen our stats on turnovers and how many times we've lost duels?
Listen, Matt, the stats, they're awful. I've seen all of them. Yeah, I've seen all of them. We're bottom of the table in everything, defending and attacking. It is a disgrace.
Yeah.
Absolute disgrace. And look, I want to have my say, because, all you guys have, been talking about how you think. And do you know what? Do you know what really fucks me off, to be honest? The piling on the players. It does. I've got to be honest. It's these players are shit. Okay. It's like, they're not shit. Yeah. I can't have this. Fair enough if you think the players are not good enough. I get it's your opinion, but I strongly disagree. Since last season under Ange, badly managed. Yeah, absolutely awful. And then we all hoped that Frank would come in and he would steady the ship. He would do better than this. He absolutely failed. And for me, ENIC, whoever, Lange, Vinay, they took too long to sack him. He should have been gone in Christmas or early January. And then you could have hired a manager, a good manager, with the season still to play for. Because at that stage, we were still in touch and distance of Europe. We were still in the FA Cup. And we just needed a better manager to come in. But they left it too late. They fucked up January. Not back in the squad. you know, with all those injuries. So that was mistake number 2, right? And now they could do a hat trick here with Tudor, because this guy, and we're going to go back to him in a second, because he's not doing good. He's not. But back to the players. I strongly believe they're better than what we're seeing. And if we had a good manager,
it better be, Dan, because we're 1 point now from the drop zone.
Yeah,
West Ham 1, Forest drew.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it. But I just think the players now, the confidence is on the floor due to being poorly managed by Frank, and maybe now even Tudor. So the whole thing's a fuck up. But it's not just the players and manager. There's all sorts of different issues why we're in this position. But it depends where you stand with the argument, isn't it? Because I'll tell you what I hear and what I see on YouTube is a complete pile-on the players. Yeah? And I'm just not having it. It's the manager. Frank was terrible. Absolute terrible. What did they not go to Ian? And I don't want to make a battle because everyone said their things on this. And I want to move this on shortly. But Ian, what did Frank do right? What did he do right in the job?
I think I think Frank was a bad fit. I think managers like Frank, Potter at Brighton, they are part of a collective. They're part of a system that works brilliantly for those clubs. And I think Frank did a very good job at Brentford, but he had all the data, all the stats with him. He had the right people around him for a club of Brentford's level, of Brentford's size. I think he did a really good job. Take him out of that position with good recruitment, with coaches that...
But you're defending him, Ian. I'm asking you, what did he do right?
I'm telling you. What did he do right? He came into a club. He didn't have the support system around him that he had at Brentford.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he came into a club. He lost Maddison pre-season. Xavi Simons was a last-minute panic buy. He lost Solanke. Mwani was a last-minute panic loan. He got Polinia in. He wanted a 6 and a 7. He got that in, Polinia and Kudus. All he got, though, and this is where I hate this whole thing about Frank let the league go. No, he didn't let Ange let the league go. No, he didn't. When we won the 3 games in February, that took us to 13th. We were 13th in the table. And then we got 5 points from 12 games from the beginning of March, from the end of February.
I agree with you, Ian. I agree.
Right. And what that did was that created a losing mentality.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And so Frank's walked into, and the players changed the tactics for Bodo and Frankfurt and Bilbao, not Ange. The players didn't. The players saw that you can't play with 2 at the back and wing back, full backs as 10s, etc. And they changed it. Van der Ven told everybody. So they've come into a situation where the last 66 games of Ange only got 78 points, and they lost 34 games out of 66. Yeah. So every other game the team's losing, literally from November 23.
I agree.
Frank's come in for a team with no ambition. It wasn't a bad transfer window because we brought in decent players. But the reason why it wasn't great, and I probably was at fault as well, thinking it was better than it was, the reason why it was not a great transfer window was that apart from Paulinho, who came in to fill a gap, all we did was replace players. We did nothing else. Xavi for Maddison, Kudus for Kulu, and Mwani for Solanke. We
does that still accountability for being 16th in the league, Ian?
Right, but hang on a second. We were 17th last season.
Yeah, because of Ange.
No, not because of. No, you can't. When those players step out over that white line as well.
I'd strongly disagree. Ange was a terrible manager.
Mistakes they were making, unforced errors that were being made. I just think
you don't think it's Ange's fault last season now. You're going on to the players.
Ange's system didn't help the players. For that, I wanted Ange out. but the amount of unforced errors. I'll just give you one example only. Basuma gets a ball from Spence at the Emirates. Instead of giving it back, just turns into trouble, loses the ball, dispossessed easily, ball out to Trossard, and Kinski made a pig's ear of the shot. That was their winning goal. That was typical of the sort of mistakes that we were making. It was dreadful. There was no marking.
What about the high line, Ian?
First game
What
of the
about the high
season.
line, Ian? The high
Dan,
line.
Romero's standing there. Romero's not
that
marking
line.
Vardy, who's 2 yards out.
Ian,
It's Leicester.
Ian,
Newcastle.
what about the high line? Ange persisted with that way of playing, even with all the injuries. He didn't drop back. He didn't defend the box more. And he persisted to play the same way when we didn't have the team, didn't have the players. We got found out. All the teams in the Premier League worked out how to play against us. And we got done.
What's this?
Okay. So if that's the case, then right? If that's the case, that the whole team was rubbish, and we needed the wholesale change of the whole 11, because that's what you're saying, Ian, right? How many players do you think they should have brought in the summer? Then that first team players, then eight first team players.
Forget replacements, Maz. We needed another 4 or 5.
We did get 4 or 5. We did get
4. We did. We replaced. We didn't add.
Tell. We bought Moani. Well, we loaned Moani, obviously, because we couldn't buy him. Right. We've got Xavi. We've got Kudos. We've got Paulinho. That's 5. That's 5 players. Right. We've got.
That was a disaster. That was that.
Yeah, but Tottenham didn't think so. Frank didn't think so. You know what I mean? Or
Frank didn't have a choice. Frank didn't have a choice. The
you know what I find funny, right? Is when the guy, the journalist that we rely on, like to tell us what's happening, tell us that Frank had the final sign for Tell.
He did.
Right? We disbelieve him.
That's
what Alistair Gold said.
Tell the source I had was much more reliable than that source. It was down to Tell whether he signed or not. The option was down. The obligation was down.
Either way,
down to him.
How many first team players did you expect Tottenham to bring in one transfer window? They're not going to do. They're not going to bring in like more than 4 or 5 first team players, are they? In one window.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
How can you?
What do you mean? How can you? You get rid of more players and you bring more players in.
We did sell a lot of players. A lot of players left, and we brought in players. You
But
can't. You've only got 25 places in the squad.
Maz,
Right?
We didn't add to the squads. We replaced players
because
who
they
were injured.
thought the reason why is because they thought that Kulu and Maddison were going to come back at some point. Don't know why they thought Maddison was going to come back, but they thought Kulu was going to come back.
Well, they knew Maddison was out for the season.
Solanke was going to come back at some point. That's why. You know, they can't just indefinitely bring in players. Look, I'm not trying to justify that they brought in the right players. Like, here's the thing. Okay, so we're saying then that we should have brought in a whole new back 4 to replace.
We needed another left back. Udogi's always injured, and there's no cover. There's no cover. If Van der Ven gets injured, there's no cover for a left-sided player. We had no cover for Kudus. We've got no cover for Paulinho as a 6 if Paulinho's out. There's 4. We've got no cover for. We've had no cover all season.
But here's the thing, right? Tottenham Hotspur think Gray is the cover for Paulinho.
That's ridiculous.
But that's what they spent 40 million on him, for God's sake. That's what they think.
But he's not a 6.
Right. Well, he's a 6. Ian, let's not do this, right? He got bought in because he was a defensive midfielder for Spurs. He was going to sign for Brentford because he was a defensive midfielder.
As an 8? No, Frank wanted him as an 8, not a 6.
No one ever played him as an 8.
That's what Frank wanted.
Then it is Frank's fault, then, isn't it? Because
he had Norgard. He didn't need players to 6.
I love the way that we pretend that managers have no agency and they can't select the squad that they're gonna choose So we gave it to Ange the season before, which I was a part of, right? But Frank comes in and he's absolved of all responsibility of how he should configure his squad.
Fine.
It's
Whose
madness.
job is it? Whose job is it? They have these director of footballs. All their main job is, Maz, is sourcing players for the transfer windows. That's their main job.
Yeah, I agree. And they got in players that Frank wanted, right? And it didn't work out.
2 players they got. They bought 2 players in that Frank wanted. The last 2 were panic buys in the last 4 days of the window. One was alone. Luani was alone.
Well, I agree. Mawani was an opportunist panic buy. I agree with you on that. But none of us could have predicted that Mawani was going to be a shocking. Look, Mawani doesn't want to be at Spurs, which is why he's shit, right? We know that, But everyone else, I'm sorry, but everyone was delighted. No one was calling for Van der Ven and Romero to be replaced. I know Sava didn't like Romero, but generally no one was calling for those players to be replaced, especially after they had that amazing performance in the Europa League final. So I don't understand what everyone's expecting.
Why didn't Sonny left? Where's his replacement? Where's the succession?
I agree with that. And Daniel Levy, right, decided he didn't want to spend an extra £1 million on Lookman. But that one player shouldn't mean that we're relegated. This is the point, isn't it? Are we hinging our whole relegation on one left-sided player coming into Spurs?
Oh God, no! But this
is my point. How many players do you expect to come in then to save us in the transfer window? They brought in 5 first-team players in one season.
They didn't bring in 5. They didn't bring
Connor, Kudos, Xavi, Mawani's alone, granted, right? And Paulinho has 5.
Paulinho's alone.
Transfer window.
Doesn't matter if it's alone. We're talking about this season.
Tell was nowhere near good enough.
I never mentioned Tell. I said 5 first-team players.
4 players.
5.
2 of them on loan. 2 on loan.
Doesn't matter whether they're loans. They're here for this season to play in the first team.
Maz, if Maddison and Solanke hadn't have got injured, Xavi and Mawani would not have come to the club.
I don't get what point you're arguing.
The point I'm making
I'm talking about 5 first-team players. Are they not 5 first-team players? Yes or no?
No, they're not.
How are they not?
Wait, where are their 5
been in our first team all season?
Who are the 5 first-team players?
Kudos, yes?
Yes.
Right. Xavi, yes?
Okay.
Oh, come on, man. We spent 55 million on a player not to be our first team player.
Well, okay.
All right, I'll give up.
Okay.
Look, guys, let's move on because we'll get stuck on this. We've got to get back to what we were talking about. But Ian, you didn't answer my question, man. I'm sorry. You didn't say anything Frank did well. Frank, what did Frank do well managing Tottenham Hotspur? And you went around the houses and you didn't give me an answer other than excuses.
What did he started off well. Started off very well with 14 points from 7 games. We were 3rd in the October.
Look where we left us, Ian. Where he left us, not what he'd done and started. Where did he leave us?
I think he was too negative, and I think it just didn't work with the players. The players didn't respect him, and I think he lost the dressing room early.
Yeah, in November after the Chelsea game.
Probably. I mean, that was where it started. This horrendous run. That's where it started. I thought the players were awful. The style of football was awful. The players didn't want to play that way. I think I read a report saying that the leadership team went to Frank and said, "Look, we're not happy with this," and he just carried on. But I think the problem is, Dan, that it's all about players. It's always about players.
Okay.
And if we've got players who can't even pass 5 yards.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? The international footballers and they can't pass it 5 yards, Ian. It's amazing. I look, sorry.
We're watching it, Dan. We're watching it. We can't make excuses for these players.
What about the managers? Look, let's leave it. I think We could go on all night, Ian, but mate, I know you've got to jump, haven't you? And I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Okay, and staying in the division looks even less likely now, doesn't it? After tonight's
Ian,
result.
I look forward to going with you to Tottenham Hotspur in the Championship, mate. It'll be fantastic. Imagine the fun we're going to have.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
What I really hope is when we are in the Championship, I want the beer prices to go down because I ain't paying £8 when we're in the Championship. You know what I mean? It's got to be 4 or 5 quid.
You know what the club will say? The club will say, look, we've frozen the season ticket prices and you've got 4 extra games. That's what they'll be saying. You watch.
True.
Ian,
good on you, Ian. Well done.
And thanks for having me on.
cheers,
Been great.
take care
Good
of
to
yourself.
see you, Ian. I'll see you soon.
And good night to all the viewers. Love the comments. Thanks, guys. Had a great time. Cheers.
Cheers, Ian. Take care. Right. Let's get back to where we were. Big up to everyone in the chat. Please smash the like. Much appreciated. Go and subscribe to Maz Spurs Corner. Get his link up. And if you haven't subbed, please give us a sub. It'd be really appreciated. Thank you so much. I'm sure you will probably subscribe to the Spurs 5, Ian, but if you haven't, there you go. There's the link. And where's Spurs Corner as well? I had that somewhere. I'll find it in a minute. But guys, look, let's go back to this manager because we got really distracted with the players. And yeah, Matt, you've just been chilling, man. So let's start off with you on this one. Just want to finally talk about the manager, and then we're going to move on to the Palace game, and we've got to wrap things up because I'm sure people haven't got all night.
When you say the manager, do you mean Tudor or do you mean Frank?
Tudor.
I think it's really unfair, the criticism that he's getting.
Tudor?
But yeah, I think so. Look, you have to be called out when you make mistakes. I think playing Paulinho as the third centre half against Arsenal was suicide. The one thing he lacks is pace. And to play against Arsenal with a midfielder that lacks pace in a back three was for me was kamikaze. So that was a mistake. I didn't understand that. He's our best defensive midfielder. We're coming up against Arsenal, who are going to have more on the ball than us. I think their games are won and lost in midfield, and I thought he's the only combative midfielder that we've got. And I would have just said to him in that game, even though we're not going to see a lot of the ball, when it's in your circumference, put a tackle in. That's what I'd have said. Guys, get round Paulinho. And I'd have gone with the one thing about Gallagher is, even though he has been poor since he's come in, is he's quite industrious. So what I said to Paulinho and Gallagher, just upset the rhythm of Royce and Zubimendi in that game and hang in there as best as we can. So Tudor made mistakes in that game. I thought we were absolutely all over the place against Fulham. I actually thought we played better against Arsenal than we did Fulham. I couldn't believe how easily they played through us. You know, in 2 or 3 passes, they were on the edge of our 18-yard box too many times for my liking. So that was a worry. He doesn't know his best 11. Granted, we've only got 13 or 14 players to choose from, but he doesn't know his best 11.
It's about formation, right? Isn't it, Matt? Like when you saw that formation against Fulham, what are you thinking? Honestly, what is it?
I was
3, 4, 4-4-2.
Yeah, look, I think I'm trying to be devil's advocate, and I think he's thinking be industrious with Gallagher as a wide right. So just be physical, be energetic, get around the pitch on the wide right, away from home. I'm trying to think logically the justifiable reason for playing Gallagher as a right midfielder, because he's obviously not a creative player. So I think he's thinking we're away from home. He's going to be up and down. He's going to be big and strong. He's going to be combative. He put Paulinho back into midfield, which I thought was the right decision. But too many times in the first half, we were pointing. We were pointing where players should be. And by the time we pointed, Fulham had knocked and they were gone. I didn't understand the Solanke Mwani situation.
Should have
It
been the
looked
other way
like
round, shouldn't it?
It looked like Solanke was playing in the number 10 and Moani was playing as a number 9. And the one thing you say about Calvin Bassey, he ball watches, but he's as big as anything. So the only player out of the three that physically might be able to compete against him is Solanke. And every time the ball went down the channels with Moani and Calvin Bassey, he just ragdolled him. So again, I got to ask questions of the manager. When you saw 15, 20 minutes and he was getting no change out of Bassey and Diop, just say swap. It doesn't take like a rocket scientist for the manager to go, you two swap. You two swap.
This is
but
it.
He just and Solanke looked lost. He looked lost.
He weren't in the game at all, mate. He weren't in the game at all.
Looked lost.
No. And then people want him dropped now for Richie. Which
If I'm gonna play Richarlison, I'll play him on the left. Just be a nuisance. Just be a nuisance.
Who?
And I'd say to Porro,
Richarlison.
I'd play Richarlison like attacking left. And like in the Europa final, he played Solanke as a number 9, and Richarlison played on the left. And I thought one of his best games in a Spurs shirt was in the final. So that's what I would do against Crystal Palace. And I would say to Porro, as you get into that final third, just deliver quality. Deliver quality, and I would fancy Richarlison coming in at the far stick. If my memory serves me right, I think some of his assists have come from him heading balls back across goal, and I think Brennan Johnson scored a couple. So he is a menace when balls come into the far stick. That's if I'm going to play Richarlison. I wouldn't. The mistake will be he scored against Fulham. Let's play him as a number 9 because he's like a bag of rebels. You don't know what you're going to get with Richarlison. So I would play him wide left, and I would play Solanke as a number 9 tomorrow night. And just play people in their positions, which sounds really obvious, but I'd play Sousa. I'd play at left back.
I agree with you. Guys, before we go to the Palace game, I want to this Tudor guy, right? Honestly, we're hearing it in the press. He could get sacked if we don't beat Palace. Do you agree with this? Do you think he's, what's your opinions on him losing his job if he doesn't get a result against Palace?
I'm going to be honest with you. I sort of, although I don't think, I think Stel was absolutely right about him in his assessment of Tudor from the beginning. I wanted to give him a chance and see what he's all about. And after the 2 games, I'm sort of shocked about how dysfunctional the team looks. I would have thought that a person like him would quickly figure out he should know who's who. I mean, it's not as if we're an unknown club. You should know like to play the players in their correct positions rather than do the odd tactics like putting Gallagher on the right and stuff like that, weird stuff, and Gray is left back or right back and all that nonsense that he's been doing. Just tactically he seems inept. So should he go after if we lose against Palace? Well,
what message?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. It's about I guess for Spurs, it's about throwing Hail Marys, isn't it? At the end of the day, just just try it. I mean, it depends. If they sack him, who they're going to bring in quickly? I guess it would have to be Redknapp and Sherwood. Surely they're the only people.
But Maz, there's something, isn't there? Because it's getting out in the press that there is some talk of it. It wouldn't just be made up. Obviously, it's not even coming from us as fans. It's coming from the media. They are, they're releasing it, aren't they, to somebody? So there must be some truth in it, right? Or just
you've got to have someone in mind. Here's the problem. This is what I can actually honestly see happening. They get rid of Tudor after Palace game, right? And I can see them bringing in a manager again from left field that we've never heard of. And then everyone will be like, what the hell are you doing? If they bring in Redknapp and Sherwood, then, then I can sort of see it. But then is that way too late? What do we expect those guys to do? They should have done this 2 games ago, right?
Yeah, but Maz, this and what I'm trying to ask you is, could it happen, and would you agree with it? If we don't beat Palace, another poor performance.
Dan, the problem is it's immaterial whether it happens or not, because
Why?
I think by then it's too late.
What if we lose to Palace? It's too late.
Yeah, I genuinely believe that.
There's points to be won.
Too late.
There's points to be won, Maz. It's not
all. You're more optimistic than me, buddy, mate. You're, I don't know what the answer is. I
we've seen it before,
know.
Maz.
I could say yes
Maz,
or no.
We've seen it before.
I don't think
sacking manager after manager. We've seen it. What Nottingham Forest have done it 3 times this season, haven't they?
It has to be Redknapp. That's the only manager I can think of that would get a tune out of these players. It has to be Redknapp. And Sherwood or something. It has to be them, because you need. I want to say this again. If you sack Tudor and if he loses against Palace, it probably is the right thing to do, to answer your question, right?
Yeah.
It has to be Redknapp and Sherwood to grab these players, give some belief in them, and make them fight for the club, because the history of them is there.
I agree.
They have to have something to fight for, and that it has to be, or a Hail Mary, right? If it's not going to be Redknapp and Sherwood, fucking bring back Ange and maybe Romero and Van de Ven, you know what I mean? Get their wish and he comes back. What do I say?
Mate, it's desperate. It's desperate, mate. It's desperate. It shouldn't be us having to decide an answer, and you know what I mean. But as obviously we're doing a show, we're talking about it. Do you know what I mean? We've got to talk about the scenario, because that's all I'm hearing since the weekend, that Tudor's close to losing his job already. And I just want to finish off with Matt with this. Matt, would you be in agreement if we lose to Palace or don't put any kind of performance in, he's got to go, and then we've got to bring someone else in, someone who knows the league, a manager, I
think we're a runaway train at the moment. I just think it's there's no one behind the wheel, and the train is it's going to go off the track. So I just think the message that will bring would be, I mean, we're in a catastrophic position at the moment already, with the worst performing team results and performance by a distance at the moment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going into the Watford. We're going into the Watford FC territory.
Like Forest.
Yeah, but at least with Forest, there was still some sort of a structure. This manager's come in and he's still playing the same players in the same position. He hasn't moved Morgan Gibbs-White to right back or put Morello as a central midfielder. The guy's just come in and pretty much kept it. Probably give a pep talk to him, but Forest still play the same way with the same players. I just worry. I'm worried anyway, but I just worry if they sack Tudor. Statistics tell me that it will probably be another wrong appointment. Well,
Matt, tell me what you would do. Just tell me what you would do, not what you think the club will get right or wrong. What would you do in this scenario? We don't get a performance out of the team tomorrow against Palace. What are you doing, mate?
I would look, if it gets toxic, which I think it might, if we stink out tomorrow, if the fans, that last couple of games under Frank, if it goes like that tomorrow, as much as I think it will be a really bad message if he's sacked, it might be untenable, which is ridiculous to say after 3 games. But Look, I just think no matter what we do, I've got a really, really, really bad feeling about how this season ends.
Fair enough.
So what would I do? I would try and keep him. I would try and keep him. I'd try and keep him.
Fair enough.
We're in an absolute. Now we're 1 point away. I think everyone's thinking, "Oh fuck."
Everyone's shitting themselves.
Now it's absolutely. We're in.
The thing is as well,
we
Maz,
look certain to go down. We really do. We really look certain to go down.
the thing is as well, Maz, the team smell it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If we're sat behind a laptop saying this, you think what Nottingham Forest players are saying. You imagine what the West Ham players are saying.
But guys, I've got a massive problem with this manager though, because honestly, he's threw out his system, his tactics out the window after one game, right? And he's telling them we don't need that. We don't need any system or tactics to win games of football, which is extraordinary. Of course you do. That's what we've been lacking this season. And he's saying we can just fight and get us. Look, Fulham are an okay side, right? They know what they're doing.
Dan, are you
guys,
suggesting that he
honestly,
should have been sacked after the second game?
No, I'm just really worried about this appointment, Maz. Like he talks a good game. He talks a good game.
Dan,
right?
It's too late now, mate. It's too
Look,
late.
I know it's too late, but he talks a good game, right? What he was been saying, I've been agreeing with. You know, calling out the players in front of the press, I don't agree with. Call them out behind in the changing rooms or whatever. And, you know, doing it in the public eye when the player's confidence is already on the floor, I don't think that was the right move. The only thing can recover this from me is if he goes and gets a win against Palace. That's the only thing for me. Goes and gets a win against Palace.
But Dan, this is why I keep going back to. That's why you needed Redknapp and Sherwood.
Yeah, I agree, Maz. Totally agree with you.
That Redknapp comes in as a figurehead, right? As his ex-Tottenham manager, done amazingly well. He's the guy who brought forward Bale and had Modric and Van der Vaart and Vertonghen. You know, all of that stuff, right? And didn't have Vertonghen, did he?
Who?
I can't remember now.
Redknapp. No, he didn't.
No, it was King and
he had King and Cabal.
Yeah, sorry, Cabal, and yeah, that's it. Sorry, I'm getting confused. But anyway, and he could say to those players, and he comes in, I've been here, boys. I've built an amazing Spurs team. You know, the fans will love him. They'll be you can imagine them singing his name, right? So the fans will be G'd up because it's Harry Redknapp's come back to Spurs, right? Sherwood will be his number 2 as the hard man. Right, and he could. I genuinely believe, even though he's old, right, and you know he's not going to be the same as he was before, right. But that's why you have Sherwood there to do all of the coaching and all of that stuff and implement what Harry wants. But Harry could get a tune out of these players. All Harry would need to do is get 3 or 4 wins. I think Harry could have done that. He could have done that, right? Doesn't matter how old he is. He could have done that. But they gambled on Tudor, which is madness. And it goes to the point that Matt said, that Lubo said, Billy, they don't have a plan. They don't have football people at the damn club. They've got no one of any footballing pedigree whatsoever to make a decision. Why isn't there a Glenn Hoddle at Spurs with a job? Why isn't there a Perriman at Spurs with a job? Why isn't there an Aussie in there as a person with a job, or a Clive Allen, or a fucking, you know, we've got so many pros, right, that are involved in football that should be at Spurs guiding us. Why isn't Pleat still there? You know, why did they eject all of these football people out of the damn club, right, that can advise in these moments of crisis, right? There's none of them there, man. There's none.
Maz, I just want to pause. I've got to big up Sava for sending everyone over from his stream. Big up to everyone who's joined. And Stel, big up to you, mate, joining the fun. Sorry, Maz, go for it.
I was just saying that in this moment of crisis now, where we're 1 point away, there's no one left at the club to advise them of any footballing pedigree, right? Who cares about Spurs, right? That if there was a David Pleat at Spurs in the boardroom, right, as an advisor, right, I guarantee you, David Pleat would have been, and then the managers were in front of David Pleat. He would have been like, Lewis family and Vinay, get Harry. I'll give him a ring, right? I'll get Harry in, we'll get Sherwood in, they'll come in, they'll win us 3-4 games. We're safe for the season, right? That's what would have happened. I guarantee it, right? But they've got no one there advising them. And they're so proud, or they're so naive, or they're so ignorant, or they're so, I can't think of further expletives for them, right? That they're not even ringing ex-Spurs managers or ex-Spurs players to help them make a decision. Why didn't they ring Hoddle and say, Glenn, who should we bring in? This is not sentimentality. This is ring people who love the club to help them make a decision, for God's sake. Right? I trust Glenn Hoddle to make a decision over and above fucking Vinay, a Gooner, to make a decision, or Lange. I just don't get it, Dan. I just don't fucking get it. And they're bringing fucking Tudor, who's can barely speak English.
Mate, I'm worried. I'm very worried. Look, let's bring in Stel. I know he's going to come in with his agenda. So fire away, mate.
Relegation's the only way.
Go on, mate. Sell it to us. Sell it to us. We can't hear you, mate. I think you're on mute.
I've got no agenda, mate. I've never had an agenda.
You know what I mean.
I've never had.
You know I'm messing with you. Your Stelegation.
Yeah. Listen, listen. This whole Stelegation thing's a bit of a comedy, marketing gimmick. I just find it amazing, right? Whenever I go on a show at the moment, it's either yes, Stel's here, yes, or it's who's this clown? Oh, not this fucking idiot. It's. I'm just as divisive as ENIC. Believe me, I'm just as ENIC splits opinion. I split opinion. But here's the thing, Dan, and this is the thing that gets me the most. I understand why I split opinion because I've got very harsh views, right? I get it. I get why people will be either fully with me or fully against me. How any fan cannot be against ENIC is a disgrace. It's an absolute abomination of the highest level. And I don't care that this is happening one bit because 5 years ago, I stood outside the club shop saying ENIC out, Levy out. We got called toxic. We got called agenda driven. Okay. Then we wore purple and gold, right? Purple and gold until the club is sold. That was the message. We got called UKIP. We got called haters of Tottenham. Okay. This year, we tried to arrange a protest. 100 people turned up. We got laughed at. 5 years ago, 3 years ago, this year, all those fans that said, you're divisive, you're toxic, you're UKIP, you're scum, you're this and that. Shame on you because this is what you asked for. This is what you asked for, to get on board with ENIC. And if you dare stand up to ENIC, it means you hate Tottenham. Is this what it's about then? Because this is the real Dan. As much as ENIC are to blame, and they will always be to blame, our fan base are the most culpable group of people other than ENIC to have caused this. Yeah. Our fans should hang their heads in shame because they've facilitated this. Not me. Don't forget, I'm toxic. I'm divisive. It's not me. I hate ENIC. It's the ENIC lovers. It's the 62,000 fans on a match day that don't protest, that don't boycott, that don't do anything. So I don't know what more I can say.
So it's your personal experience,
people
your opinion, Stel. Sorry, mate, I lost you.
We've been saying this for 6 years, bro.
Yeah, but now
we've been saying this for 6 years.
You've got to the stage, mate, where
we said this would happen. We said.
Can you hear me, guys? Can everyone hear me? I don't know if it's me or you, Stel. Yeah, you're making a stand with this. You think the best way forward is to get relegated. Yeah, and you don't care anymore. You've had enough, and you think that's the best way, and that's your view, mate. You know, no one can tell you not to think any different. That's how you feel. You know, I get it.
Club,
totally get it, mate.
The club is already talking about finding a new sporting director to work with Lange. This treacherous ownership wants to keep Lange, and people are calling me crazy for wanting relegation. Mate, if we stay in the Premier League, nothing's going to change. Nothing will change. Only financial pain and financial distress will force any kind of change. Because as long as we're in the Premier League, the money will be coming in, the merchandise will be sold, the season tickets will get renewed, the hot dogs, the noodles, the fish and chips will get sold, the beers will get poured, we'll get a bit of European football, and that will add to the coffers. Mate, that's all they want. That's all they want. And unless that is hurt, I'm sorry. This is what we are now. Shit.
Well, we might go down, mate. We
shit.
might go down anyway. Whatever
We're
we
going
think,
down, mate.
we might go down anyway.
I hope so.
Yeah, we might do. So, you know,
see, I don't believe in that. There's no point relitigating the thing still because you've been doing that all day. But I don't believe that ENIC are just capable of doing anything positive for Spurs anymore. And I think the only reason that Daniel Levy got a tune out of us, like in the previous decade, so from 20, let's say from Harry's reign to Poch's reign, is because there's still Spurs people around the club, and yeah, David Pleat whispering in his ear and stuff like that, right? And you know, he got Harry Redknapp in, a proper football person, and he struck gold with Poch. That's the only reason why he done well, right? At Spurs. He also lucked out on Bale and he lucked out on Harry Kane. The luckiest things that any chairman from around the world would have dreamt of to find these. They didn't find them. They just became gems at Spurs randomly for him, right? No one knew that there were going to be these world-class superstar players, right? And that's the only reason he done well. That's the only reason he done well. I don't believe that they're capable of doing anything other, right, than arrange concerts, right, and have beers going from the bottom of the stadium all the way up and all that shit, right? I don't believe that they're capable. So if we go down, what they'll probably, I do think that they'll probably will be in the doldrums for the next five years while they try and sell the club, try and recoup their losses and stuff like that. Would I be upset with that? Well, yeah, I do. As a Spurs fan, I love Spurs, but part of me agrees. I do agree with Stel. The fans deserve this. The fans deserve this, right? And they have to suck it up, right? And do I feel
not fans like us, Maz? We don't deserve this. Me, because I put my money in the club for years.
But as a collective, we all take shared responsibility as a collective, right? We don't, but
yeah,
you know.
And this is why it's not right. I don't want to be playing in the Championship. I'm selfish. I want to see us in the Premier League. I know we're not going anywhere under ENIC. I know that. But I still want to watch my team in the Premier League.
But you know what the funny thing, you know what the really funny thing is? Let me tell you
don't enjoy watching
one thing. Still, one thing.
Not under this manager.
He doesn't enjoy watching
Tudor, not under Ange. Yeah.
I'll say this one point. You know what I find fascinating, right? I've been listening to TalkSport all week. Well, obviously, I listen to TalkSport all the time because as I watch during the day, I want to hear what's going on in the football world. And you get loads of Tottenham fans ringing in, right? And saying, oh, it's Levy, oh, it's ENIC, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, complaining, right? And I always think this to myself. How many of them turned up to the protest then if they feel this way?
Not enough fans care. It's simple as that.
Well, this is the problem. And this is why, in a way, I agree with Stel that making them feel pain for the pain that we felt is very satisfying, right? But you know, Tottenham is our love at the end of the day, so it's difficult.
Stel, you were saying something, mate. Sorry, what are you saying to me?
Yeah, you say that you want to stay in the Premier League, but it's horrific watching us in the Premier League. We lose every week. We play the worst football. We don't sign good players. The academy kids don't get a chance. The style of play shit. It's manager after manager. Why do you want to stay in the Premier League? And do you know what? People in the chat saying to me, you're only giving up your season ticket because you're in Paphos. I could hold on to my season ticket and sell the tickets each week. I could give it to my brother. I could pass it on to a family member. I could hold on to it until the club fixes, and then I've got a ticket secured. I come back to England. I could, I'm giving it up because I refuse any longer to back this ownership. That's why I'm doing it. And if that's all you've got on me, then shame on you. You're the clowns that didn't protest. You're an embarrassment to our football club, all of you fans on every channel and my channel. You're all an embarrassment. You brought this on yourselves. Dan.
Yeah.
Well, the football we watch is the football we watch is absolutely shit. So why do you want to stay in the Premier League then?
Yeah, I know. but I have seen Spurs compete in the Premier League under ENIC. I have seen it. Yeah, I know it's been shit, and it's wrong.
When?
Andrew's wrong.
And when was that?
Frank was wrong.
Dan, when was that?
Recruitment's been bad. It's been Vinay, Lange, terrible. They all need to go, and it needs a complete reset. Right? It needs a complete reset.
How are you going to
No.
get the reset? Why are they going to? They're talking about keeping Lange. You're not going to get the reset.
Look, yeah, I get it, man. I'm not hopeful, but I'm a fan, mate. I want to see my team play in the Premier League. The banter we're going to get, mate, when we go down.
Mate, you're getting bantered
It's
every
too
week.
much. Yeah, I
We
know.
get bantered
Going
now.
down, mate. That's something I haven't experienced
Right,
as a fan in my life.
Let me ask you a question. Dan, let me ask you a question, right? I don't want to make this show about me. I don't want to do that. I just want to ask you one question. I'm saying go down to force the kind of catastrophic seismic event that has to change, right? So my counter to people that disagree with me, and you're welcome to disagree with me if you're going to be respectful about it, how else will we force change? Because our fans aren't going to do it. So how else can we force change on ENIC? Because for me, relegation will force it. So if it's not relegation and the fans aren't going to do anything, you guys tell me, how is it going to be forced so that you get what you want, Dan? How does that happen?
No, I agree with your reasoning, but as a selfish point of view, I want to see us in the Premier League. I totally get it. They deserve it, right? ENIC deserve it. They deserve to get relegated for their failures. Yeah, but obviously, let's go to Matt. Matt hasn't spoke. Matt, what's your view, mate? Do you think we need to get relegated?
No, I always want to see Tottenham in the Premier League. However, the gravy train, which is Son and Kane, have well and truly flown by. So we're now with the remnants of this past attacking forward line. And I can remember for many years opposing fans saying to me, what happens when Kane and Son leave? And I used to laugh it off. Oh, don't worry about it. Kane's not going anywhere. I used to laugh it off 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I used to laugh it off. And, the reality bites. And this has been stagnating for years. And I understand the message, which is sometimes there's a saying, if you don't learn, you'll feel, there's a saying. So I think they've pushed their luck so many times as a model. ENIC, Lewis, Levy, and they've run out. They've used all their chips. They've used all their vouchers. They've used all their get out of jail free cards, and we're here now. And if you notice that we get the Tyson Fury fight, or we get Rihanna, or we get Guns N' Roses at the stadium, we never get Chesney Hawks. We never get an ABA boxing match. They're always world title fights or pound for pound fighters. You notice that whenever there's an event, it's always A-listers. Red Hot Chili Peppers, go through the list. But when it comes to football, we were looking at Semenyo, but we were going to bid 70 million for Gueye, but there's always an excuse. There's always, we'll do it next summer. We'll do it next transfer window, and the war chest is going to be opened up. And there's always these PR stunts to kind of whet the fans' appetite, and then they go, got away with that for another year. So the demise is real, guys, and I take no happiness in saying it. I, as a small kid in Edmonton, and came to Birmingham, I had the piss taken out of me. Spurs, and it's here now. And I was alive when we were relegated in 77, 78, and I genuinely didn't think I'd be alive for the next time. So it's a blow. I've got to be honest. I'm proper gutted because this is a runaway train, and I can't see anybody steering or putting the brakes on. And we're in a collision with the Championship next season.
You've all given up. You've all given up, guys. You've all given up. You surrendered the flag. We're going down, right? All of you on the panel.
Well, it's not surrendering. It's just the reality.
You're calling it out, Maz. You're saying that's it. We're done. You're giving up.
Well, yeah, because they haven't shown us anything that would suggest that they'll turn it around.
Statistically, Dan, if we weren't Spurs fans and we were commenting on Everton or we were commenting on Leeds, who have won 2 matches in 19 or 19 or 2. I don't know what the number is now.
Honestly, it's hope more than anything. It is hope.
If it was a Spurs, Dan, what would we be saying? If we were
I get it.
Fan,
I get all that. You hope, don't you, as fan? You do, innit? I don't want us to go down. I don't. Obviously, I want them to go down for ENIC because they're useless.
Can I just say one more thing, Dan? Can I just say one more thing?
In the Premier League.
I don't say much. I'll say one more thing.
Go on.
And the year we might go down, Arsenal may do.
Just don't want to think about it.
I mean, can you imagine that?
Yeah, it's disgusting, isn't it?
Imagine
fucking what about this? Levy leaves, and it's the first time he goes and we get relegated when he's gone. What about that? Eh?
Yeah, Sean Butler's loving it.
Mental.
Sean Butler's loving it.
It's mental, isn't it?
First year he leaves and we go down. Be happy with their performance, right?
Listen. We sacked a manager last year, okay, because of whatever reason. We brought in a mediocre manager at best. Everyone jumped on him as if he was the Messiah. And then when it was clear that he wasn't what everyone claimed, they took way too long to sack him. He should have been sacked after we lost 3-0 away at Forest. He should have 100% been sacked after the West loss. They didn't sack him. They prolonged it, which didn't give the new manager enough time to solve the problem. We then had one of the most horrendous January transfer windows where most fans were praising the Conor Gallagher signing. What a bang average signing that was. And then we finally do bring in a manager when it's too late, and we bring in arguably one of the worst managers we could have brought in. Someone with 0 Premier League experience, 0 relegation in the Premier League experience. And since he's come in, all he's done is make Conte rants, which the fans don't forget. They all wanted Conte out when he said it. But this guy's come in, he's speaking the truth. He's saying all the things that we want to hear. You didn't like it when Conte said it, and you had an elite manager. So I look at the fans' behaviour. I look at the manager. I look at the recruitment. Dan, Matt's right. It's a runaway train, bro.
Yeah, no, I know. I just don't give up, mate. I just don't give up.
No, we don't give up. It's the club that gave up.
Yeah,
if we beat Palace tomorrow, right? If let's say we beat Palace tomorrow, let's just imagine. Our next game is Liverpool. It's a guaranteed loss, and it allows Forest and West Ham to catch us again. So even if we win tomorrow, all it does is release a bit of pressure. It doesn't fix anything because we are 1 point right now. Am I right in saying we're 1 point off relegation? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Hey. You think we're going to go away to Chelsea and win, away to Villa and win, away to Liverpool? Look at Wolves. Look at Wolves right now. We're losing.
We're losing. Stel, let me ask you this. Do you think Tudor's gone tomorrow if he doesn't get a win? And would you sack him? I know you've got your opinion on everything and you want us to go down, but just talking what could happen, possibilities. Would you sack him or would you just just keep Tudor and let us go down?
100% I'd sack Tudor. But the problem is they'll probably bring in Ryan Mason instead of Harry Redknapp. They'll probably bring in Ryan Mason. Same shit.
Well, I don't know what to say, guys. Honestly, let's talk about this Palace game. This was the final part of the show before it just went crazy with West Ham winning. Everybody's shitting themselves. We're going down. Let's talk about this game tomorrow. Like Tudor, right? He's obviously abandoned his tactics. He says we just have to fight and whatever he's saying. is he going to play like a small team tomorrow then? Because this is what he says Spurs need to be now. We need to play like a small team. So does that mean playing at home, we're going to defend for our lives, right? Or are we actually going to attack Palace? Right, guys, sorry in the chat. Please stop the abusing of Stel. Otherwise, you're just going to get blocked or timed out, right? But thank you. Just disagree with his opinion. Disagree, but you don't have to be leery about it. Just leave it.
Dan, honestly, I appreciate you saying that. Let them abuse me. They are angry with their failure to take action when it mattered, and they're angry that me and the minority of fans that said we got to stand up to ENIC, we were 100% correct. They're angry with themselves. Let them vent it out, man. They're angry. I get it.
Yeah, but
I feel for them all. But they brought it on themselves.
Yeah, but please, guys, just be okay. You can disagree with Stel, but you don't have to be abusive. Just leave it. Yeah, just going back to what I'm saying, you know, Tudor talks about small team mentality. Is that how we're approaching the game tomorrow? What's going on? How
we are a small team. We're a small team now, aren't we?
Yeah, I know, but he's talking about that. He's telling the players in their head, you're going to play like a small team. Does that mean we're going to just sit back, Mass, at home?
The problem is he's come in demanding authority, but the reality is that the players don't respect his authority. If they respected his authority, they'll be putting in 100%, but we haven't seen that in the last two games. I mean, they tried in little bits and little sections, but ultimately that, you know, they haven't shown us any level of performance that we could look at and think, yeah, we might stay up. And that's the problem. That is the problem. So he can say, oh, we have to have a small mentality and try hard and all of that. But how is he gonna make the team try for him and respect him, especially when he slammed them in the press? He needs time to do that. The only way he can do that is by dropping players, putting players on the bench and stuff like that. It's too late for them to do that. He hasn't got enough games, right? He hasn't got enough time to do anything like that, to turn that dressing room around or to make him, respect his authority. It's too late. So if he loses tomorrow, you can't sack him now because there's literally a game tomorrow. But if he loses tomorrow, then yeah, he should be sacked. You're going to have to get in Redknapp and hope to God that he performs a bloody miracle. And it'll be sad because if it is Redknapp that is the manager at the end who takes us down, that I don't think he would want that. Maybe he won't take it for that reason. Maybe he thinks, you know what, if you gave it to me 3 games ago, I would have taken it, but now I forget it. Sherwood would take it, but even Sherwood, I think even Sherwood would think, "Ooh, do I really want to do this?" So,
well, he's been talking a lot, hasn't he, Sherwood? He's regularly on Sky Sports every week.
Yeah, but it's his job, isn't it?
Yeah,
paid for it.
So Maz approach and how to approach the game tomorrow against Palace. How should we set up? Who should we play? What do you want to see? And we go around the panel. Matt, Stel.
I'll be very quick. I'll be very quick to let the guys speak because I've spoken a lot. I would drop. Is Kingsley available?
I heard he's not.
Okay.
He was injured, weren't he, the last game?
And put Kingsley in, right? I would play Sousa on the left because that's his position, right? I think he's got no choice now but to play Van der Ven. All right, I do Van der Ven and Danzo combination. Right back, it will have to be Porro, and I would play effectively a 4-5-1. Right, so left wing, I would put Tell in because you have to. You haven't got much choice. You need a left winger. The central midfield 3 will have to be Conor Gallagher, Xavi, and who else? And Paulinho, right? It will have to be that. I don't see any other options for him. On the right wing, oh fucking hell, can you play on the right wing? God knows, right? I've got no idea.
Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, right, and up front he'll have to be. Oh, actually, I would play Richarlison up front. I would drop Moani and play Richie up front. Right wing, actually, what I would do if Spence is fit, I would play Spence right back and Porro.
Spence isn't fit.
Right wing.
Spence is out.
Okay, so you can't do that then. So that's it. That's all you can do. We'll have to play Moani on the right then. Fuck knows.
Yep. Who wants to go next? Matt, Stel, what's the lineup? Matt?
Yeah, Matt can go.
I'm not sure if Kingsky's fit. So let's go with what we know, which is Vicario's fit. So Vicario in goal, Souza and Porro, the two fullbacks, and Danso and Van der Ven. Midfield three, Paulinho, Gallagher, and Xavi Simons. Gallagher would be fortunate to start, but I'm gonna law of averages. He's gonna have a good game finally. On the right, I'm gonna go with Tal. On the left, I'm gonna go with Richarlison, and down the middle, I'm gonna go with Solanke and Mwani on the bench.
Fair enough. Confident, Matt?
No. And this isn't anything sinister. It's just
So how are they approaching it, Matt, though, tactically? How's he going to approach it? Is he going to just sit back like a small team? Is he going to attack? What the hell is he going to do? Is he going to go three at the back, four at the back?
I think the message he's going to give them is to be on the front foot and pressurize and squeeze and, you know, the normal stuff that he talks about. Whether the players will implement it or can be asked to implement it, those are two other questions. But we've won 2 football matches at home in the Premier League this season. So I fear for us, I really do. And, you know, Dan, I would love nothing more than a comfortable, accomplished performance and result tomorrow. But I just have to take my Tottenham contact lenses out and I have to say what I see. And the stats are they're not our friend. The stats are not our friends.
Are you calling a defeat, Matt? Are you saying it's going to be a defeat?
I'm genuinely worried. I don't know if the words could come out my lips, but I'm genuinely worried about tomorrow. Genuinely worried.
Stel, what's your lineup? How should Tudor approach it? What do you think he's going to do? What's your thoughts, mate?
My lineup doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who we pick because I'm only looking for 3 things. 1, players play in the right position. If Paulinho plays, I want him in the 6. If Gallagher plays, I want him in the 6 or the 8. If Porro plays, I want him at right back. If Souza plays, I want him at left back. If Xavi Simons plays, I want him in the 10. I just want players to play in their right position. That's all I want to see. I don't care what formation he goes with. I don't want to see him give up the midfield. So if I see 2 players in midfield and we're overloaded against 3 for the 3rd game in a row, I think I'm going to absolutely smash my laptop. I'm not watching us getting ripped in the midfield again. So he needs to address the midfield where we keep getting overloaded. And the last thing I want to see is just the players actually try, win the first ball, win the second ball, be quick to pass, quick to take throw-ins, you know, get in the referee's face if decisions go against us. I want to see fight. What do I think he'll do? I think he'll completely change it again, confuse the living shit out of the players for the 3rd game, and there'll be no consistency whatsoever. So God knows what that's going to do. Look, I think we can beat Palace tomorrow. They've got no Lacroix. He's a big player for them. He's missing. But we're at home, which normally means disaster. And it's just written in the stars, isn't it, Dan? Johnson again, ole, ole.
Oh, he's been shit since he's gone there, though, hasn't he? Has he even scored a goal?
Dr. Tottenham has been in overdrive this season. Literally everything and anything that's shit, once it plays us, it becomes stardust. Look, I think we're going to draw this. I do think we can win it, though. I do think we can win it. But them missing Lacroix is a problem for them.
Why, Stel? What makes you think we can win it? Because nobody, I think, is calling the Spurs win.
Because I've watched Palace. They're very, very dodgy. They're inconsistent. And Lacroix is a big player. But Matt's right. Our home form is, the stats don't lie, bro. Something happens to us at home. We literally shit the bed. So I think we're going to draw. I think Spurs are going to get a draw in this game. And it's going to be 1 point to Tottenham. That's what I think is going to happen.
And guys, the question in the chat here, well, not question, but comment, multi-channel, big up to you. biggest game in our Premier League history tomorrow. Would you agree?
Yeah.
No. Forest at home.
Well, actually, we should have beat Chelsea at the, Battle of the Bridge when we could have gone. Was it top?
Yeah,
could have won the league.
Yeah.
That's probably our biggest ever Premier League game. But
now
this is our second. This is our second.
Yeah, Forest. Stel, you said Forest could be, but as tomorrow's tomorrow, and that's the game in front of us, and we need to win it. Yeah, I think he's right. I think for now, yeah.
Yeah, currently.
Yeah, but if we lose it, we're still not in relegation. But when we lose to Liverpool and then Forest or West Ham push us down, then I think the Forest game is the one. I think the Forest game is going to be absolutely mental.
I can see our players crying. But I'm being serious. I can actually see during the game as well. They'll be running and crying at the same time. I can actually see that happening.
With 8 games to go.
Yeah,
with 8 games to go.
Yeah, I'm being serious.
Okay, now it's going to be seen.
It's not a laughing matter, but I think that's how weak-minded our current. I think they're so. Look, I'm going to say it again. Seeing Van der Ven play that Fulham game, he looked like he was a demoralised child, distressed. When you see a little kid, God bless him, when you see a little kid in the supermarket and they've lost their parents and they're just crying and walking around trying down the aisles trying to find their mum and dad. That was Van der Ven.
He lost it. Lost the plot.
He lost it, mate. I'm telling you.
Can I ask you guys something? If we lose tomorrow, would you 3 sack Tudor, or do you think it will be? It's too much. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much chop and change.
No, I'll get rid of him.
Available.
He's done nothing. He spoke. Where's the new manager bounce? Where is it?
Would you let him take Spurs to Anfield?
No, hell no. That's going to be 8-1.
That's when they'll start crying, and then as our players are crying, our fans will be clapping them while we're being beaten 5-1.
Yeah, we wanted life. Yeah,
you can't. He don't deserve. He needs to get sacked if we lose tomorrow. That's a disgrace, man. Honestly, all the what.
Could you imagine we sack an interim? Can you imagine we sack an interim?
Well, anything's possible these days. Seriously? Anything's possible.
Do you think Redknapp and Sherwood would take the job?
Yeah, I think I've read that.
80-year-old manager.
So what? So
has it ever happened? Has it ever happened in football?
Didn't he take Birmingham City for about 6 games to try and keep them in the Championship, and they got relegated?
Eugene is actually that's not our Eugene, is it? Some other Eugene, right? It's too many Eugenes.
That's Eugene, the American Eugene.
Yeah,
the one in our chat. The delusional one.
It's not. There's 2 Eugenes. There's one from Asia, then there's one with the American accent.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I knew who's did. Both of them are delusional. It's acting like we've got a choice or something. Like we've got loads of wicked options that we could pivot to at that moment in time. Who else is going to come in? All right, bring in fucking Sherwood then, as if Sherwood's on his own's going to do anything.
Maz, do you know
Evening,
what?
boys.
Bring back Ange.
Also, Stel, just someone actually put it in the chat, but we have actually sacked an interim manager before. We sacked Stellini, mate.
Oh, yes, true.
Yeah, but that was one game. It was
quite a few games, but we've got a habit of doing it. So,
Danny, here's this. My second solution, Still, 1 second. Honestly, if we do sack Tudor and we can't bring back Sherwood Redknapp, maybe our only option is to bring back Ange to just sort of try and say, "Boys, I'm back. It's who we are, mate," and then try and galvanise them. I'm being serious.
He will keep us up. He will keep us up.
No, he won't. What do you think?
He will. Do you know why, Danny? We'll just be all out attack every game, and we'll grab 2 wins.
Yeah,
we'll grab 2 wins.
He would come
all out
with
attack with what attack? Sel, all out attack with what attack? What attack?
This team. Hold on. This team. Hold on. This team has shown it can attack in waves against Man City second half.
Solanke, that player that you were arguing with me about the GA and all of that shit, Danny. Solanke's in now.
I'm the one
So
that says
you
Solanke.
can adjust your ratio.
Here's a
Mate,
question for
Solanke
Danny.
is better than Richarlison.
Danny, here's a question
You know
for
what?
you, mate. Who are you choosing up
Dan.
front tomorrow, Solanke or Richarlison?
Do you know what? It's a toss up between all the strikers at the moment. I personally think Richarlison is better off the bench. I think when Richarlison starts, he's crap. When he comes off the bench, he seems to impact the team. And to be honest with you, we need something to impact. We need someone to impact the game when momentum needs to be changed. And it seems to be every time Richarlison comes on, he changes the momentum a little bit. So if we want any chance of changing something from the bench, he's your player. So I wouldn't start him personally because I think every time he starts, he's crap.
Do you know what annoys me, guys? When we sacked Frank and people were saying who's going to come and get the job, who would you hire, and everyone was being dismissive of the options. I actually said we should give it to one of the options should be Chris Burnett, the under-21s coach. And the reason I said it is because number one, he knows the club. Number two, he's actually a very good coach. And number three, if depending on our seasoned professionals to save us isn't the solution. The solution is to embrace some of these youngsters, which we're failing to do. And he will do that. He will embrace some of the youngsters because for me, I'm watching the adults play every week and it's dog shit. You might as well give some hungry young kids, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and say, do you know what? You can't do any fucking worse and see if it lands. And people are scared of that option. So, okay, I get it's a very risky strategy. But when you look at how the alternative is working out, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. So I still think there's youngsters in the club who have got enough hunger and enough fight to show more.
The problem is,
the word's care. Well done. They care more.
I get what you're saying, right? But the problem is you cannot bring in youngsters in a relegation battle. It's the worst thing to do for youngsters.
You say that, but it's how you pitch it to them. If you say you're playing to save the club, then yeah. But if you say, guys,
do you know how much pressure that is on a young player who's never played men's Premier League football? It's so much pressure.
Danny, hear me out. It's how you pitch it to them. If you say to them, you're going to play to save the club, then yeah, it's ridiculous pressure. But if you say to them, guys, you deserve a chance. Don't worry about the results. Don't worry about the final score. Go out there and do what you've been taught and enjoy
it. It will never, ever happen.
It hasn't happened. Yeah, but that's the point. It hasn't happened. And what we have done instead is to try and depend on the same players that have been, letting us down for a very long time anyway.
Yeah, but the problem is still, I get what you're trying to say, but it's still from an ENIC point of view, from a Premier League point of view, they're just not going to allow. No manager's going to come in and start bringing on the kids in a relegation battle. You need men for a relegation battle, and even in our first team, we've got no men. So how are we going to bring even younger?
Is playing like a man in Scotland. He's playing like a man. Mikey Moore is getting shit kicked out of him. He's playing well.
He's playing in Scotland. It's a different league still.
Mikey Moore or Tell? Mikey Moore or Tell?
I think Tell. Tell's got 4 goals in the league this season. What's Mikey Moore done at Spurs?
Tell plays for Spurs. Mikey Moore doesn't. Mikey Moore scored 4 goals in Scotland in less time than Tell scored 4 goals for Spurs.
In Scotland, still in Scotland.
Kinski. What about Kinski and Brandon Austin? They should be playing. Both of them should be playing ahead of Vicario.
I agree.
Yeah. Look, guys, it's getting that desperate. I want Tell to start. I don't rate him at all, but it's desperate times.
He does have to start.
Yeah,
purely because
he's good off the bench.
Yeah, again,
he's energetic off the bench. He's not even good. He's just energetic.
Yeah, but no one's willing to run at the moment.
But the problem is, what happens then if you start Tell, he does awful like he normally does when he starts, and then who do we bring off? Who do we bring on from the bench?
It's the same scenario as what we did if he doesn't start. It's like,
this is what I think we should start tomorrow, guys. Let me put the lineup what I think should start. I'm sure you're going to disagree with it, so let's go. Right? Would you start with this lineup?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I would.
I wouldn't.
Maybe Gallagher, but where Basuma is, I would start Gallagher.
Start with Vicario either.
I'd start. The only person I'd change is Basuma for Gallagher.
I'll change Basuma, Vicario, and Kole Mawani. I think I'll change those.
So who would you put on then?
Dan, you need
I
three
would-
in that midfield, bro. You need three in that midfield.
I
not-
would
You know,
put.
Palace are going to sit back. You know that they're just going to play us on the counter attack. You
Which
know
is
that's
why
what
you
they're
need
going to
three
do.
midfield.
No, you need more attackers if you need a.
They're just going to sit in there, Palace. Palace are just going to sit in there tomorrow. Watch. They're
Mate,
going to get us with
tomorrow-
their wing backs and Saw.
Tomorrow's game, Spurs should, if they play the right players in their position, should be playing a 3-5-2. They should be playing that against Palace.
So,
But we won't. We won't do that.
Who would you? Like, for example, Maz, you said you'd change those 3 players. So who would you replace those 3 players with?
I will drop Vicario and put Kingsley in if he's available for a start. I would drop Basuma and put Conor Gallagher in.
Yeah.
Right, and for Mawani, I would actually put on. I would put Tell on the right and put Richarlison on the left.
Interesting.
Does
Because
anyone have an
Richarlison has
idea what
played
you
on the
think
left
he's
for
going
us
to do, though,
quite a
guys?
lot in the
Any
past.
of you?
Yes.
Anyone who's got a clue what this manager's actually going to do? You can call it. Let's
He's going
see.
to play He's going to play a 5-4-1. Gallagher's going to be up front. Kinski's going to be left back. He's going to put Porro centre mid.
What about you? What about you, Dan or Matthew? What do you think?
Well, that might line up. That's the lineup I think I put up there, Danny. That's my lineup.
I'd go with that as well. Apart from Basuma, I'd take Basuma out.
I don't know if Dragerson was injured, but I noticed he took Dragerson off and brought Danso on, which if it wasn't because of injury, I give him credit for that because granted he's missed a year with his ACL, but Danso's the better defender for me. So I'm hoping.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I'm hoping Danso starts tomorrow. If he starts Dragerson again tomorrow, I won't be happy with that. And I just worry about who's going to play left back. I would play Sosa, but
It has to be Sosa. It has to
Yeah.
be. He's only because for me, he's naturally left-footed, and from an attacking perspective, he looks all right. Like for a young kid, he looks all right, and he's better than what we've got right now.
Yeah.
I just can't stand to see Archie Gray at left back, or
Mate, he should play there because he's a left back.
yeah, exactly. Still, exactly that. Yeah.
yeah. But my worry is he going to go with Gray's more experience than Sousa and shove Gray out there? And the one player that worries me for Crystal Palace is Sarr.
Oh, I can't stand Sarr. Get him sold.
No, I don't mean.
No,
Papa
he's
Matt
talking about
Sarr.
Sarr
I mean,
from Palace.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
It's
Mali
Sarr.
Sarr.
I think that, yeah, he. That's the guy when we sold Johnson to Crystal Palace. I was thinking, are we going to do a cheeky Brennan Johnson and a bit of money and bring Sarr the other way? I think he scores goals. He worries me tomorrow. I hope I'm wrong, but he worries me. So I'm just worried who's going to play left back with Sarr, and I would rather Sousa than Archie Gray out there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd do the same.
You know this thing with Gallagher and Basuma, right? Why I put Basuma in there? Why do you think, guys, I put him in there instead of Gallagher?
Because he's the only one who wants the ball in midfield.
And even though he's been shit, right? And obviously we want him gone, but he's the only one capable who can get the ball, turn with it, pass the ball. Gallagher, I mean...
Well, he's the only one that seems confident to even though he's not as good, to want the ball. Like no one else wants the ball.
No. That's why I'll go Basuma, even though he's unreliable. But who else is there? It's the problem.
Yeah.
Dire Straits.
I do think though, if we don't get anything tomorrow from that game, we are in serious trouble. It is a must-win game tomorrow, but there's no doubt. And if these players can't get up for this type of game, and they can't even put the effort in we us fans deserve,
they deserve to go down, man, don't they?
Yeah. I'm kind of.
I did say, Danny,
delegation.
Fulham and Crystal Palace are going to tell us whether we're going to get relegated or not. And
well, I said it as well, Maz. I said we both said it on that show, on Mark's show, that if we don't get any points from the next 2 games, we're in serious trouble. I still said that.
We're in
I'm
serious
not
trouble now, dude. We're 1 point away.
I know we are. I know.
And you're telling me that Forest now, with the result they've had, and West Ham aren't smelling blood, they're going to be like, we can make it. We can
The only reason I say that is the only reason I've said that we could still pull off safety is because if we can get players back for the last like 2 games, who knows what can happen. Like,
but who's going to come back? I mean, like
Kudus,
maybe there's a possibility, but are
maybe
they really gonna
Maddison
be
as
fit?
well for the last game of the season.
Yeah, but are they going to be fit, man? They're
Probably
not
not,
going to play any football.
The second to last game of the season is Chelsea away. We're getting
mate,
relegated
no
at Stamford
chance.
Bridge,
We're
mate.
getting
We're getting
relegated.
relegated.
Yeah.
at the
World-class
Bridge.
Kulu will be back, won't he? World-class Kulu.
Listen, Nuno is going to serve his revenge. Dish served cold. Right?
We're gonna make
Nuno
me
is-
proud. We're gonna make me proud.
He is going to get payback. Listen, part of me feels that the drive is to get one on Spurs as well. He's got a lot of motivation in his position right now. He's got what's our manager's motivation? He knows he's gone at the end of the season if he stays up or goes down.
You don't give a shit.
He's got no motivation.
Stel, in all seriousness, right? If we sack Tudor, right?
Yeah.
I've got 2 questions. Do you actually think that Redknapp and Sherwood could come in, or no? I'm asking Stel, not you, Danny. Fuck's sake. right. Or do you actually think that Ange could come back? I'm being serious now. Do you think that they will turn back to Ange and say, Ange, come back?
Ange will tell them to go fuck themselves. Go fuck yourself, mate. All right, that's what Ange will do. He's Mediterranean.
You
He's
got to do it right.
not gonna...
You got to do it right, Stel. No. Yeah.
No, Ange will come back, relegate the club, but win the Champions League. That's what Ange will do.
He'll be like, I knew that I could throw the league away, but still win the Champions League.
Season 3 is better than season 2.
Season 3 is better. No, look, Ange ain't coming back for shit. He's done. He hates us.
Mate,
look at all the interviews he's doing on
Stel,
Sky Sports. He absolutely hates us.
Stel, do you remember at the end of last season, right? After Europa League,
they won't get
remember
Redknapp, Maz. They're not interested.
Do you remember what we said? A lot of us, me and you, I remember we both said I would take 17th and Champions League if we finished 17th. Mate, I would take relegation and Champions League. If Ange came back to do that, I'd take it all day long.
Every fan would, but
not every
fan would. Every fan would take Champions League no matter what. They would.
You'd be surprised how many people would say no to that.
Okay, I think most fans would take it, but to answer Maz's question,
would you guys take it?
Ange, let me just answer Maz's question. Ange ain't coming back, and Redknapp. For me, it's very clear the club is not interested in bringing in Redknapp. If they sack Tudor, you bet it's going to be someone like a Sean Dyche or a Ryan Mason. They'll do something like that.
What about an Allardyce?
Yeah, Big Sam. But it'll be too. Listen, it's too late. Dan, it's too late. It's too late. These now were fixtures that we really should have won. Fulham away, Palace away. These are the games you need to. After Liverpool, mate, it's horrendous. Liverpool, we got Chelsea away, Aston Villa away, Wolves away looks horrific now. That looks like such a horrendous fixture. The only game I look at and I think maybe we can get something in is possibly Leeds United at home. But even then, you don't trust
Everton at home. What's the other one? Nottingham Forest.
Everton are in good form, mate. They're in good form. They're going for Europe. The second to last game, Chelsea. I mean, that's just murder. That's a murderous game for us.
I think the reality is, he says, we've just literally run out of options, haven't we?
We fucked it. We've absolutely fucked it.
Guys, call it out, all of you. Are we going down?
Yes.
No.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I genuinely don't know. On form, yes. On form, 100%. With the worst team in the Premier League. Tottenham.
If you had to put money down, Stel, what would you do?
Yeah, we're going down.
Okay.
I'd probably bet on that as well.
But Danny, I want that though. I'm biased though. I want it. So I'm biased.
Yeah. Danny, you said we might not. Why?
No, the more and more things, the more and more I see it, the more and more it's just it's going to be so difficult. And the only before I was saying that the other teams have got a harder run in than we do, but if you look at how the other teams have all performed in the last couple of days, 1 second.
Matt, mate, anything you want to say on anything?
I'll just echo what I said in the last sentence, that the stats aren't our friends. So when the question asks who has the tougher running, Tottenham have the toughest running because we can't win a football match. So we could play Accrington Stanley and they would probably be favourites for the game. And I'm not saying that in any jest. The stats are not our friends. We are losing at an alarming, repetitive state. So whoever we play, we don't win, you know, and this is even before they picked up form. So before West Ham picked up form, they were in bad form. They played us and they beat us. Burnley were in awful form. They got a draw. Bournemouth, go through the list. All the teams we've played in the bottom half who haven't won in 8 games, 10 games, 11 games, they play Spurs, they win or draw. So, you know, unless something miraculously changes, the train, it's a runaway train. There's no one behind the wheel. I can't.
Matt, do you know what else? Do you know what else is going to kill us? Matt, do you know what else is going to kill us?
Sorry, mate. I just want to read the super chat out. Yeah, Luca 14. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Would you guys take Ange back? I think we've covered that one. But cheers for your super chat, mate. Sorry,
Matt. Do you know what else kills us? We've got after Palace. We've literally got a few days break, and then we've got to go away to Atletico Madrid. A few days break, Liverpool away. A few days break, Atletico at home. A few days break, mate.
What is this?
That Champions League fixture is a real problem. It's man.
We've got no game of the weekend,
we're going to get an injury. We're going to get another injury. It's coming. We're due one. We're due a big injury.
Yeah, and that's my worry as well.
Would I take Ange back? I don't think I would take Ange back.
Do you know, it's you were asking me before, Dan, why I thought that there's a chance is because as bad as we are, and I think the players that are, if we can get 1 or 2 attackers back before the end of the season, even one win can change a lot at the bottom.
Danny, which attacker?
Whoever comes in.
Who?
Madison?
Who? Madison's out.
Kudus?
Mate, Kudus' knee is fucked to kingdom come.
Kudus, not Kulu.
Kudus. Okay, yeah, Kudus might come back. Okay, yeah.
Kudus is the only realistic one.
Yeah,
he hasn't played football for 3-4 months, man. He's going to need games to get back into it.
I know, but even him still could make a difference in 1 or 2 games. Like I'm not saying it is possible. I am saying it's possible. I'm not saying it's probable.
Romero comes back. He scores a lot of goals, actually. Romero does score goals. He's a liability, but he scores goals.
Well, that's what I mean. The thing is, even that, just some players that come back like that, you just don't know. Like in football, anything can happen, man. That's why I still have a bit of hope that we're not going down.
But there's no one else coming back, right? It's Romero. Who else? April.
Romero at this point makes a big difference. He's a fucking idiot for doing what he did because he could have cost us.
Does Romero play at Liverpool or not?
No, next game.
No,
so he plays against Forest.
Yeah,
we're done for.
I think there's a strong chance after the Liverpool game, Spurs will be 18th.
Well, it depends tomorrow, doesn't it? If we win or not, this is it. We have to wait and find out tomorrow. See what we're served up, and then we can predict that. I think, Stel. If we lose, then I think you're right.
Dan, we have to win. We for sure have to win against Palace, Wolves, Everton, and who's the last one? Nottingham Forest.
Fans are saying Romero can play against Liverpool. They're saying it in the chat.
He's got 4 games. He's only missed 3.
Yeah.
He missed Arsenal. He missed Fulham.
It's not Liverpool. It's Forest. He's back.
What was the game before Arsenal? Did he miss that one too?
Wasn't that Man? No, that wasn't Man United.
No, yeah. I think tomorrow's his 4th game.
Yeah, tomorrow's his 4th
He's
game.
back. He's back for Liverpool. Yeah, he's back.
Oh,
for
is he
Liverpool.
back for Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still losing,
he?
man. We're still
You
losing
sure?
at Anfield. We're
He's
fucking.
back.
Mate, they battered
he's
West
back
Ham
after Liverpool.
5-2. They battered West Ham 5-2, and West Ham just beat Fulham, who we can't beat away. We're going to lose at Anfield. We're not winning for shit.
So
Oh,
he
yeah.
missed the
There's no
Newcastle
chance.
game. He missed the
Yeah.
Newcastle game, which was Frank's last game. He missed the Arsenal game,
Yeah,
and he's missed the
okay.
Fulham game. So tomorrow's his
okay.
4th game.
Cheers, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back for Liverpool.
Romero's going to
We
score the
have
winner.
to win
I score
to
pick.
stay up. I think we've got to beat Palace, Wolves, Everton, and Forest. It's the only way we're going to stay up.
What about Leeds at home?
Okay, interchange Everton for Leeds then.
I don't think we're going to beat Everton. I think they're playing well. They look good, and they're really fighting for a place in Europe. They've got plenty to fight for.
I don't think. I'm
and also
not saying we will beat them. I'm saying we have to. We have to. If we
Yeah,
get any chance of staying up, they're the only games that we can.
Our
realistically do it.
biggest problem is that our players are not ready for a fight because they don't care. That's the problem. They clearly don't care.
Mate, if you watch Forest and West Ham the last 3 games,
Yeah, they've been
the
fighting like mad.
spirit
Yeah.
they're playing with.
Why
man,
isn't
we-
the fight
we-
there, guys? Seriously, the players.
got
Why
nothing
isn't
like
the
that.
fight there? Why? Do they really want to lose all them? You know, they're going to get their wages cut, right? When they get
They're gonna
relegated,
cry next
fifty
No,
percent.
they don't care because they know they're going to be sold.
Yeah, can't sell all
I
of
think
them,
they're
Danny.
confused. I
Yeah.
think they're confused, man.
Can
I
they
think
sell all
Frank-
of them?
It's a fire
Dan,
sale.
I think they're confused, mate. Honestly, I think the players are confused. They've been badly coached for a long time. What's the system? What's the formation? What's the style of play? What's the patterns of play? What direction should the ball be played in certain positions, in possession, out of possession? I think they're confused to fuck. And Tudor comes in, one formation 1 week, another formation next week, plays players out of position. Mate, there is no structure whatsoever to anything we do. And I think the players don't know what they're doing. I
So do
honestly
we need
believe
to get rid of Tudor then, Stel. He needs to go then if he can't do
It's
that.
too
He can't
late.
even do a
Too
basic
late.
job.
it's too late, mate.
I would have rather have kept Frank because I still believe Frank would have saved us.
Nah, man, mate. Frank wrecked us. He wrecked us.
No, he
man.
didn't. He didn't.
He was so shit. You lot, we
No,
just
he
need a
didn't.
coach.
No, he
What a
didn't.
con that was.
Get
Yeah, he
Bielsa
was.
in.
Well
Yeah,
done, Dan. You conned the whole fucking fan base. Well done.
What about Bielsa coming back?
See the way he didn't respond back to me then.
I'm eating.
Yeah, you're eating humble pie.
No, because you're the one's going to be laughing if we go down, and I'm going to be
laughing.
saying
I'm
that.
going to be laughing.
Look,
No, I'm popping the
Frank is not
champers.
a good manager, but Frank, I guarantee you, would have not taken us down. Guaranteed it.
You
in my
can't
opinion.
guarantee it. You can't
Dan,
guarantee it.
Dan,
That's
we
my
were in
opinion.
free fall. We were in
I
free
said-
fall under Frank.
Still, we weren't in free fall. We lost a game to Newcastle, and this fan base overreacts like it's fucking meltdown city
Mate,
every
we
time we
won
lose
2
a game.
games in 10 under Frank. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and
It
a
was
few games prior
shocking.
to that, in the second half against Man City, we had a performance of a great performance. So
When
this,
I mentioned
believe,
that,
believe-
hold on. When you said what attackers still, and I said we can attack. Look at the second half against Man City. You dismissed that.
No, I said that the players decided to play when they wanted to, right? And I've said this all season, Stel. I've said these players decided to turn
They
up when
weren't
they
playing for
fancy it.
Frank. They
Yes,
didn't like Frank. Frank's
they
rhetoric was
played-
terrible.
Stel,
He
they
talked down the
played when they
team.
wanted
He
to
kept
play.
talking about Arsenal. He was obsessed with Arsenal. He kept telling the players, you're only going to win 10
I
games.
said,
Mate,
Stel-
he talked down the club. They didn't like it.
I
They didn't
said
like it.
these players don't like anything, Stel. They don't like anyone. They only care about themselves. Let's be honest.
No. I think. Listen, I said when we sat Frank, I don't want a manager that puts a rocket up their arse. I don't want this military type manager. I want a manager that's going to come in, put his arm around them, and lie and say to them, "You're a cracking group of players. I really think you're top class," which is what Redknapp does. To come in and just show them a bit of love, give them a bit of fake confidence, and get 3 or 4 wins doing that. I said these players can't handle tough love. They can't handle military management. They need a wokey type manager who's going to feed their egos. Yeah, you're right, lads, you're top players. That's what they needed. What they've got now is this military general from Croatia who's just cussing everyone. It don't work. Our players don't respond to that.
Our
We don't
players
have those
respond
old
to
school
anything.
players like Drogba and Wanyamas and real hardcore players. We don't have those players. We've got very soft players. Only
I know.
only Paulinho and Romero can handle that shit. They're the only two players that can handle that
I
kind of
don't think
conversation.
Romero can either. Clearly,
Nah, Romero can. He loves it. He fucking loves it.
well, no, because look at his attitude. Still, his attitude proves otherwise.
Yeah, because because he's the authoritative figure. Because no manager has been able. I tell you what, Ange got a tune out of Romero. Conte
Did he?
Conte did brilliantly with Romero.
Did he?
Conte did fantastic.
Conte's first year in charge, that was the best football I've seen under Romero. That was the best time I saw. That was the best football I've seen Romero play for Spurs.
You know
Anyway,
what?
Frank. Yeah, go on, Maz.
I was going to say, like, regardless of what anyone says about Conte's even in his second season, we were still fourth, going to third. So he wasn't doing that fucking bad, was he? The team was ticking, mate. Like we weren't exciting to watch like we were in the first 6 months. But there's no denying that with those crap defenders and midfielders,
Conte would have finished fourth. He would have finished fourth.
Easy, yeah, for sure.
Well, we have at the back then, wasn't it? Sanchez and Long Gap and who else? We had
terrible defense.
Eric Dyer.
Yeah.
Doherty. Terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is this, over and above, is that Eric Dyer, as crap as he was, and he was very crap. He was very, very crap. He would fight. He would fight. He would, right?
He did. He jumped in the stands, didn't he?
Yeah, he would
save his brother.
But that's the thing, though. Like, he was an authoritative figure. Like, he would fight. Like, he had fight in him. He was crap, but he fought.
Eric Dyer, right? Do you know what? He's so shit. I was saying on another channel, Dragusin is Eric Dyer with Danny's hair.
Nah,
no different.
Don't do that, mate. Come on.
Guys, before we shut the show down, I want one more question. Sorry, Matt, you come in a sec. This whole debate, or what I've been hearing, last couple of days, are Spurs a big club, right? I just want to end the show on that. Sorry, Matt, go for it.
I just want to read out some quick stats. I don't know if anybody's covered it before, but these are Tottenham's defensive stats in 2026. So Jules lost 562, which ranks us bottom, right? Aerial duel success 42%. That ranks us 18th in the league. Errors leading to a goal 5. That puts us 19th in the league.
We're going down.
Errors leading to shots or goals 15. That puts us 20th. Expected goals conceded 17.6. 20th.
Mate, we're getting relegated.
We're getting relegated.
Those are our stats.
We're going down, man.
Shut it down, man. We're getting relegated.
We generally are the worst team in the league, aren't we?
When you ask that question about are we getting relegated, the stats aren't our friends.
No, you're right. Absolutely right.
Mate, when you said 500 and whatever, you could have stopped there and you would have won the argument.
562.
I wish you said these stats at the start of the fucking stream. We would have saved us 3 hours of talking.
Guys, in the eye test is... God.
We've lost 562 duels since January.
Insane.
What,
Dan,
that's the record.
Before I came on your show, I was on Sava's chatting to Sava, and I said, and he agreed, we are the worst team in the Premier League. If you watch us the last 2 months, we've got the least amount of fight, the least amount of passing play, the least amount of attacking, the worst. If you look Burnley, watch Burnley the last 3-4 games. They look better. Wolves look a lot better. Forest, West Ham. We are the worst team in the Premier League, man. We're
why,
genuinely
Stel? Why, Stel? Stel, why is that, though? Why? How can it go so
bad? Managers, players, recruitment, coaching. It's everything is broken, bro. Everything is broken.
The whole thing.
The only thing that works is the machine that pours the beers.
That's it.
The machine that
It's
pours
true.
the beers.
The whole club's broken. Everything's
It is,
broken.
the whole thing. The whole thing's broken. Bro. Everything.
It's broken down and it can't get restarted.
It's
You
so
know what,
bad.
Dan?
It really is, man.
I hope
Watching
I
Tottenham
hope there's
is
a clause. I hope there's a clause that we cannot have concerts and boxing matches if you're a championship club. I would love that if that was a clause.
Unfortunately, it doesn't affect it.
I know.
Guys, I just want to quick go around the panel. Big club thing. Are we a big club? Are we not? I'm sure you all got different opinions on this. Whoever wants to take it away.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Look, I'm going to say I'm not going to change my start. I do think we are a big club, but that doesn't mean that a big club can't get relegated.
No, of course.
I mean, Aston Villa are a big club and they got relegated, right? Newcastle are a big club, they got relegated. So,
Did you know only Tottenham and Arsenal are the only teams in the Premier League era to not be relegated?
well, that's about to change.
Yeah.
That's about to change.
But you think we're a big club, Maz, yeah? Because people think we're not.
Well, if we weren't a big club, we wouldn't be news story all around the world.
It's true.
Would we?
We're not playing like it. We're not performing like it. We haven't.
Yeah, but that's different, though, isn't it? That's not
Yeah.
that's not, that's just actual performance. And in performance terms and statistic terms, no, we're not a big club.
We don't sign world-class players.
No.
You know. I think we're a big club. I do. Anyone else want their opinion on it?
We are a big club. Yes, we are. But what's happened is ENIC have run us like a circus for the last 3 decades. So if you're a teenager or if you're in your 20s or your 30s, you look at Tottenham, all you know is ENIC, then we don't look or feel like a big club to them. And I get it. Right. But if you're someone who's in their 40s, 50s, 60s, you know we're a big club. Of course we're a big club.
That's why Danny's deluded.
Danny's just got that narrative because it's a controversial one and it's a good debate, right? But if we weren't a big club, we wouldn't have a 62,000 seat stadium that's sold out week in, week out. We wouldn't have the money that we do to spend on players.
Not tomorrow.
We wouldn't have won a European trophy last year. We wouldn't have the history of trophies that we've won. The sad thing is, the last 30 years, we've been run like a fucking circus, which gives the impression that we're not big. We're not elite. We've never been elite. We've never been Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Man United, Liverpool. We've never been that level. But we're a big club. Villa are a big club, by the way. Everton are a big club as well. Okay, they're big clubs too. To say we're a small club is very disingenuous, in my opinion. We're a big club that's run like a fucking circus. That's my take on it.
Yeah, that's a very good summation, Stel.
Yeah. Danny, you want to say? What are you thinking, mate?
No, I agree with Maz. I can't really add more to that. I agree with Maz. I think we are a big club. I just think we haven't acted like a big club for a long time. And I think the way the club act is they try to make everyone feel that we're a bigger club than we actually are, right? By the stadium and the training ground and the media and oh, we're gonna go for this player, but oh no, we don't get him. We're gonna go for Bruno Fernandes. Oh no, we don't get him. It's kind of like flirting with to kind of make it look like that we are this even bigger club than we actually are, but never acting like that actual big clubs who act the way they do. And I think that's always been the problem with Spurs, especially under this ownership. So yes, I think we're a big club, but I don't think we're ever going to be bigger than what we are until something changes, whether that's the ownership changing or they decide to change their ways, which I don't think will happen.
Fair enough. Well, all of you guys, good reasons. Matt, final one from you. I can't really add anything to all of you guys. I've got a couple of things I could add. Matt,
I think historically, we would be classed as a big club, but when you put it into context that clubs like Huddersfield have won more league titles than Tottenham, it kind of puts doubts. I think the marketing machine has made us appear that we are a big club, and we're on the TV a lot, and we've had household names in Harry Kane and Gareth Bale. It gives you that illusion that Tottenham are a big club, but trophies give you the blueprint, and we don't win enough trophies. So I'm gonna say I'm struggling with the idea that we're a big club anymore. I think the more the years go on, we're getting smaller and smaller. So
would you say Huddersfield are a bigger club than Spurs?
No, but I'm just trying to give the illustration of we've only won 2 league titles in our history, and if you say that to opposing fans, they'll be shocked. Opposing fans think we've won more titles than we've actually have. So,
what if you tell fans how many trophies we've won as a collective?
We're like
because
6th,
we've
aren't
won
we?
we're 6th in English football history. That's not something that anyone can say.
No, I see that. I could see that point to suggest we are, but my only concern with that, Dan, is as the years go on, we're going further away from that. If we'd have had this conversation in the 80s or early 90s, I think we still stood as a big club because clubs like Chelsea and Man City weren't near us. But what's happened is they've increased and we've gone this way. So I think we're going out the window. If it continues like this in the next 5 years, I think it will be hard to make the case that we're a big club.
If it continues like this, mate, we're in the championship soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're going in the wrong direction.
Guys, I've got to shut the show down 5 minutes, yeah? So final words of the night. Big up to everyone in the chat. Smash the lights. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe to Spurs Corner and the Spurs 5. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Final thoughts, everyone, of the night. And then it's big game. Biggest game in Spurs history in the Premier League tomorrow, as they say. Let's go. Who wants to... Matt, final thoughts, mate? And then Maz and Danny and Stel.
A sobering night tonight. And I think if we're all brutally honest, we kind of knew it was coming. So yeah, I kind of hope tomorrow we end up stinking and getting 3 points. But yeah, it's a worrying night. It's a worrying night to be a Spurs fan.
Okay, cheers, Matt. Thank you for coming on tonight, mate.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on, Dan. Good stream.
Cheers, man.
You should do it more often. I would say that I almost want this misery to end. That's how I feel about it now. Obviously, I hope that we put in a performance against Crystal Palace and we turn things around and we have a good end to the season in terms of like results and form wise and everything. And we can look forward to maybe Pochettino coming back. But the reality is that if we do go down or if we do stay up, nothing's going to change ultimately until ENIC are gone. And that's that. And unfortunately, that's the reality.
You're going to cry, Maz, if we get relegated?
No, I won't. Not at all. But I'll tell you who will be crying is all our players in the next game. While they're playing football, they're going to be crying. I'm telling you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers, Maz, for coming on, mate. And Stel, mate, final thoughts from you?
I couldn't give a shit. Win, lose or draw. ENIC out. Nothing's going to change whilst they're here. Only relegation will force the change. Let's stay up and carry on with the same crap. I've made my stance very clear. I'm not going to repeat it. Nothing's changing, Dan. I'm past that point now.
What about if we sign Timo Werner on loan till the end of the season?
We
Do
should
you know
have
what?
signed
He's
him, though.
he's
Definitely
better than
shouldn't have,
Tell.
hasn't
He's better than Tell.
Well, they
He's
give
better than
Dele
Tell.
Alli a few games. He's there, isn't he?
Oh god, yeah. I'll take Dele Alli in the championship. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you know what's funny? I was doing the We Are Tottenham TV watch long. I can't remember what game it was. I think it's when it's when West Ham were playing Man United. Spurs were playing. I think it was the Newcastle game.
Mhm.
There was a moment in the Newcastle game where West Ham were beating Man United, and we were 1 point or 2 points behind them.
Yeah.
And this panic kicked in across the fan base. The Man United equalised last minute, and we kept that kind of 5-point gap, and everyone was like, "Woof!" Then they sacked Frank. So we've sacked Frank. We've brought in Tudor. Fast forward 3 games. Now we're 1 point behind West Ham.
You
Now
know,
we're
you
one
know
point
what?
behind.
You know, I know we're wrapping up, but you know what is going to be really bad, right? The fact that the stadium's going to be half empty tomorrow means that there's not going to be that disgruntled Ferrari after the game if we lose. That is bad because really you need that.
Yeah, it's not a sellout, is it, Maz? There's so many tickets on the exchange. I
Why
don't know how
would
many.
you pay to go and watch this shit? What the fuck would you go and pay? You got people like Destiny in the chat, lunatic fan, right? Comes in my shows as well. We need positivity. What the fuck is there to be positive about? What is this madness? Tell me what there's to be positive about. The defense is shit. The goalie's a clown. The midfield's non-existent. The strikers don't score. The manager's clueless. The owners don't care. What am I being positive about? Come on, man. The players are showing us no desire to want to stay up. If I was supporting West Ham or Forest, I'd be positive because I can see they want it. They want to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This team has checked out. That's why 20,000 fans aren't going tomorrow.
Twice this season.
Fans like Destiny deserve every miserable thing that happens to this club. It's fans like you that have backed
said?
ENIC.
What has he said?
He's backed ENIC. He's backed Levy. He's always supported them. He's said, be careful what you wish for. Congratulations. This is what you wished for, not me. You wish for this. They deserve it. I couldn't care less.
Stel, mate, thank you for coming on, mate. Much appreciated as well. And Danny, last thoughts of the night. And yeah, we're going to wrap up.
Stella Gate, good times. Come on.
Come on. Do you reckon by the end of the season we'll have more people on board, guys? Honestly,
I think he's already getting more people on board.
What's
I
the
get
numbers
emails
at the
every
moment,
day.
Stel?
Listen, I get emails, I get messages. People, mate, someone called up Talk Sport today and literally. Do you know what? This whole delegation thing is getting a little bit stupid, actually, because I'm saying it because I think this is how we're going to force change. Other people that are saying it are just saying it because it's just a fun thing to be a part of, like this little it's a little phase. No one has told me how we are going to force change other than my idea. No one's told me a solution. I tried to ask you earlier, Dan, and you kind of just deflected a little bit and changed the question, right? No one has told me.
There's no way, Stel, is there? There's no way. There's no answer. Is there?
I
Let me ask you
get
guys now.
Go on, Stel.
No, go on.
I was gonna say I get what Stel says completely. Just the last point. I get what he says. It's just that I'm in a disagreement with him on the point that he says that maybe we need this in order for them to change. But I just can't see them changing even if we go to the championship. And I think they won't even get us out the championship. I have
Danny,
no faith in
I
them
don't think
to do that.
I don't think you say a choice thing. I think they're not capable of changing. That's why I don't agree with Stel. I just think they're incapable now.
I agree with you,
of doing
man.
anything, right?
I agree.
So anyway, we'll end on that. Otherwise, we'll be fucking talking forever.
Yeah, let's end it,
Dan.
guys. Big up to everyone on the chat. Big up. Thank you for watching the show. Big up to everyone who's joined us tonight. Big up to Ian earlier, Billy, who came on as well at the beginning. And yeah, we'll see tomorrow, guys. I'm sure
Must win.
We'll be
game tomorrow.
screaming mad after whatever. Well, especially if we lose, it'll be busy. Good night, everyone. Take care of yourselves. And yeah,
guys. Thanks, Dan.
catch you all soon.
Cheers,
Take
Dan.
care. Bye bye.